putting up the points they've been putting up this season.
That's just it, Chase. I think obviously on paper you looked at what the Okanagan Sun was returning, you look at the coaching staff, and yes, you figured they were going to be top dogs in the conference, but what they're doing on both sides of the ball, plus their kicking return game, I think is surpassing what maybe modest or realistic expectations might have been. But yeah, the play calling and the performance of the offense is off the chart. They're averaging almost 50 yards a game, or points a game. That's fantastic in this conference. And when you look at the defense and how it's not just one or two guys that are carrying the back of the defense. They've got a great defense from the starters on the D-line, the linebacking core, the defensive backs. They can stop the run, they can stop the pass. I think all around, the Sun is more balanced than I think most people would have thought looking at them on paper.
Yes, so let's get out our mid-season report cards, shall we? Do not get them out if you're driving and you're listening on AM 1150. Please don't do that. That's illegal. But there are a couple big goals here and a lot of question marks. What's going to happen with Malcolm Miller not in the lineup this year, the former MVP? They've been running, and they've been running by committee this year, Jason. Exactly.
Those are huge shoes to fill. When you have a consistently #1 running back in the Canadian game, regardless. With not even one, but 2 or 3 running backs that can step into that situation at any time, that is a nightmare for opposing defenses, because it's not like there's one player that you got to key on and you want to beat him up, maybe bruise him up as the game goes on, so by the 3rd or 4th quarter, he's a shell of himself and he can't run as hard. But when you've got 3 quality running backs and then some, like even Britton is a great run threat as well, that's tough for defenses to go against, because you can always put in fresh legs into your offensive package.
And, we could talk about it. Maybe we can give the 3 running backs last week a little bit of a nickname. Earth, Wind, and Fire, between Javon Garwood, the Wind, Tristan Peddle, Earth, and then Fire.
I like that.
Aiden Weiberg at the end of the game. You know, there's been some complaint. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've actually had Sun fans complain, the game's already over at halftime. Why are we even sticking around? Well, there's a reason you should stick around. Mount Boucherie alumni, West Kelowna native Aiden Weiberg blew off the roof here at the Apple Bowl, or the lack thereof at least. In the 4th quarter, final drive, rushed, final play for a touchdown, a play he'll never, ever forget. The fire of this team. I got to speak with running backs coach Matt Walter, former Calgary Stampeder. He is thrilled with how his running backs performed last week, and he's hoping to get the same performance this week.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this afternoon's BC football conference game between the visiting Prince George Kodiaks and your Okanagan Sun. And as you head into the Apple Bowl this afternoon, just a reminder that if you're sitting in the main grandstand, seats with 4G tape, signifies reserved seating. If you don't have reserved seats, and you're sitting in a seat with orange tape, please find another seat. Sunday, you're going to settle with the Energy and Mining, major sponsor of the Sun, and the Sun Scholarship Fund. We'd also like to thank our other corporate partners, Oscar Construction, Wilson, Rona Holmgart, Jansen's Gaming and Entertainment, West Barbecue, Macintosh Developments, Greyhound Industries Limited, Berkshire Ford, and Midway. To summarize, Brother Unigart has 2 locations in the Apple Bowl today. Consumer beverages and parking alcohol. Sales start at the strong beginning of the 3rd quarter. Please respect the privilege and responsibility. The concession stand beside the main pictures is open until the end of the game. And 50/50 tickets available online at okanagansun.ca. We'll be announcing the winning ticket during the regular season finale here at the Apple Bowl. Visiting Prince George Kodiaks are already on the field.
You might want to just stay up here, because
and now let's welcome
All right, Matt Walter joining me here before the broadcast. Bad news. I mean, some sad news. Matt Walter is taking a full-time job in Calgary. He's going to be returning home, so he's only going to be able to hang out for select games for the remainder of the season, which is unfortunate because Matt Walter and Don Richmond have done such a great job with these running backs this year.
Absolutely. I don't know Coach Matt, but I know Donnie Richmond really, really well. And there's always been a great coaching staff that's taken care of the run game with the Okanagan Sun. That's always been a very consistent fact when you look at the offense and the package they put together. There's been very few times over the decades this team has been dominant that they've lacked a run game. So it's great to see that consistency. Coach Richmond will do fine. I don't know if they'll bring in another coach, if Coach Matt when he's gone. But yeah, it's great to see that he'll help out when he can and keep the season running backs on top form.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then it's on to kickoff. It is the Kodiaks, it is the Sun. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150. Two. Up top.
This time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you all to please rise if you're able to remove your hats and join Team Chaplain Pastor Don Richmond in the singing of our national anthem. Our home and native land, true faith we love, we all of us command. With lowly hearts we see thee rise, not true nor strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
How much time, Stephen? Okay. Take off that shirt. You're good, you're good. You can do it here. Come on, let's see the guns. Thank you. right.
Prince George won the toss. They have the third choice in the second half. The Okanagan Sun will receive the opening kickoff.
Kodiaks different.
Welcome back to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Chase Johnston here, the voice of the Sun, alongside former coach of the Okanagan Sun, Jason Casey, riding shotgun, reunited, and it feels so good. It is the Prince George Kodiaks coming to town, the new expansion team in the CJFL. Jason, what's it like being an expansion team in this league? I mean, you don't know what it's like, but tell me about what's sort of the mindset going into this game. Everyone's a rookie, everyone's a freshman. You got a couple players that have kind of bounced around some other CJFL teams on this roster, but for former Calgary Stampeder and the head coach of this Kodiaks team, Keon Raymond, he's going to have his handful this afternoon.
Absolutely, and the pedigree he has as a player and a coach, obviously he's in a great situation to help lead these young men. The key for them is to build on what they did last week. They had a home game, they got their first win as an expansion team. That's huge. They're coming into the Lions' Den. Obviously, you know, the old cliche, anyone can win on any given day, but realistically, they're gross underdogs today. That said, build on what you did last week. You got your first victory. The defense played really well. They came up with a pick six to seal that victory. Your offense looked like they were moving the ball. They put some points on the board. So as a team like the Kodiaks right now, just want to build on what worked last week and keep climbing throughout the season and then see where the chips lay against a juggernaut like the Okanagan Sun.
The Sun will receive to start the first half. Back to receive is Nathan Kotonagai and Mike O'Shea, coming off his second straight Special Teams Player of the Week honors.
Impressive. Such a killer returner.
The wind is really picking up here. I got paperwork starting to fly all over the place up here in the broadcast booth. By far the windiest game of the season here at the Apple Bowl. Kick is away. They're going to line drive it right to Mike O'Shea. Here comes the dangerous returner looking for a burst of speed. He'll juke. He'll dance up the middle. He'll fumble. Who's got it? And I think, and I believe, the Okanagan Sun just recovered the football. And what a turn of events that would have been for the Kodiaks.
Absolutely. Luckily, Mike O'Shea got his own fumble, and obviously the closest man to the fumble. But that can happen when you're juking like that, because as you start changing direction so quickly like that, your arm sometimes starts to flail. When you're running north-south and reading a block, you're compact, you're tucked that ball, it's protected. But when you start juking, it's flailing, and someone was just able to knock that ball off his arm.
And look at this to start the football game. Liam Kruger is in at quarterback. Kruger in the pistol. He's going to hand it off, looking for Javon Garwood. Instead, he's going to run. And we know Liam Kruger's got wheels, Jason.
He's a big, fast, strong kid. Absolutely. That's a great first call. You would think with Kruger coming in, let's get an easy pass play to get his confidence up. But no, they run a play-action pass right away and let him dictate where he wants to run, whether it was just after tackle box or go to the sidelines. And it was an easy quarterback option for him to come off and pick up the first down. And a smart man, he slid and didn't take a first hit.
And it's not like Liam Kruger is rusty at all. He's had action in every game this season except for the game against Langland. And what a move by Noah Bymack. Speaking of effective players, really guys who stepped it up, a rookie receiver from Yorkton, Saskatchewan.
And that's another great play call by Coach Miller. When you see that, you got your young quarterback in there, like you said, he's experienced, but then second play call is just a wide receiver screen. That's it, a little hitch, let the receiver make the first man miss and get big yardage. Awesome start to the first series for the Sun.
And a lot of questions already, as we already have controversy. There's nothing wrong with Dominic Britton. Played in the game, 2 straight Offensive Player of the Week honors as they run it up the gut here with Javon Garwood wearing 34 in orange. There is a lot of number changes if you're changing the jersey. Unfortunately, you can't get consistent numbers for every jersey that you wear. This is the 3rd time the Sun have worn the orange jerseys. They've worn the 40th anniversary browns for both home games. They have yet to wear their whites or their silvers. There's a lot of different jersey combinations that the Sun have. It's going to be 2nd down and 7 here for the Sun from the Kodiak 30-yard line. Kruger right up the middle. It's guess who? Colby Miletto, who always likes to be lined up in the middle. But boy, oh boy, you got to really take your licks with some big hits there.
Yeah, great job by Colby. Receiver, it's going to be a zone coverage, and as he turns into his out, he just sits in between the 2 zones. Kruger does a great job finding him and picking that up. And again, moving those chains. This is a great opening series for Kruger and the rest of the Okanagan Sun offense.
Kruger has a lot to work with some very talented receivers. He's going to run it again with Garwood. Garwood looking for a hole, doesn't have much. He'll gain a couple, and it will be second down in about 8.
Yeah, that's tough. When you have to start running east-west, even before you get past that line of scrimmage, odds are you're going to get eaten up by a D lineman coming from the backside, and that's exactly what happened. You got to get through that initial contact of that line of scrimmage. Let your top 5 beat up on those 3 or 4 on the front for the Kodiaks, and allow Garwood or whoever else is running the ball to get into that linebacking core, and that's when you can start looking at the big cuts and the juking east-west and make somebody miss.
And Matthew Kling just got called for unnecessary roughness after the play. That's going to actually bring...
And a loss of down as well, dead ball foul, so that's a massive penalty.
That is a tough penalty for the Sun to take. It's actually going to be now second down and 20 from the 34-yard.
Yeah, and I didn't see what happened. Maybe he was protecting one of his teammates, but that's a tough penalty.
Kruger now out to give it to Bymack. Bymack needs room. He just ran into a swarm of black jerseys leading the way. Keon Raymond Jr., also known as Keon Raymond II, the son of head coach Keon Raymond of the Prince George Kodiaks. We'll be saying the words Keon Raymond a lot on this broadcast.
If you can see, it's not the wide version on this replay here, but Michael Shea was wide open because the guys, all the front coverage was keying on that wide receiver hitch. I think Coach Miller's going to get that call from the eyes in the sky, and they tell him this will be a great play-action pass in the future. Michael Shea was wide open. If the coverage for the Kodiaks don't realize that might have just been a hiccup, that's going to burn them big time as the game goes on.
So 11:57 to go here in the first quarter. Attempting a field goal is Kelowna native Liam Atwood. Atwood, beautiful kick. It's up and it is good. And that one from about 37, 38 yards out, Jason.
Yeah, no, that's a great kick. A little bit of redemption to have, a great opening series like that falter after a big penalty, but they got some extra yards back, get him within kicking range. Just a nice little chip shot for Atwood to get the points on the board. And you don't want to come up with zeros after a great opening series like that, so 3 at least is something that they could be positive about, and then look at the little mistakes they made to make sure as they come back on the field for series number 2, they're firing on all pistons.
We're going to take a 30-second break. You're listening and you're watching the JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. The Okanagan Sun with an early 3-0 lead off a 37-yard field goal from Liam Atwood. Isaac Wagner to kick this one away. Keon Raymond back to receive. Actually, that's Marquise Banks back to receive, and Banks reaches just to the 20-yard line of the Kodiaks, and that is where Keon Raymond's Kodiak offense will go to work.
Yeah, Banks caught it on the deep left side there for them, and he was trying to cut across his blocks to try and set something up, see if he can't get to the wide side of the return team and get some positive yardage, and the Okanagan Sun are just too disciplined on special teams. The coverage team staying in their lanes, crashing those lanes down as they get into the returner, but keeping square to him and able to make that tackle in a gang tackle style. Beautiful coverage by the Sun.
Liam Oskowski, the quarterback here for this Prince George Kodiaks team. The tailback is Keanu Brown. Oskowski hands it off to Brown. Brown looking for a lane, ran in to defensive back Garrett Cape. And pardon me, that's not Garrett Cape, as we see the rain now starting to fall here.
I was just going to say, I think it's raining.
And we saw a little bit of rain last week in a very unusually hot, muggy evening last week in the Apple Bowl. And what has been a very sunny month of August, we've been seeing rain 2 days in August, both of them here in the Apple Bowl during the Sun game.
Yeah, and then that previous play, just a simple run play to the weak side with their number 1 running back, just to get a feel for what the Sun are doing, and unfortunately now it's second and long.
Back to pass here is Oskowski, and what a catch, and he had to earn it. Kamar Bishop was right up in his grill. He still managed to haul it in. A great grab there from, I believe that was Jerome Erickson.
Yeah, that was Erickson, one of their top receivers. Yeah, high ball, whether that was, just the start of the game jitters or the fact that maybe it's getting a little slick already, the way that ball came out of his hands. Oskowski's a great quarterback, very accurate, so coming off like that, you think maybe the ball was just a little bit greased, but way to haul it in. Great reception by Erickson, but unfortunately a 2 and out. And this is something that the Sun are going to be gearing for all day. They want to make the Kodiaks get frustrated and punt the ball all day long, especially when you got Mike O'Shea returning.
So the Kodiaks back to punt. Here comes the very dangerous Mike O'Shea, coming off 2 straight Special Teams Player of the Week honors. Can he make it a 3rd here? He needs holes. He's going to get something here down the sideline and just pushed out of bounds towards the Prince George 40-yard line. Good field position here for Liam Kruger and the Sun offense.
Absolutely. The Sun return team, as you see in this coverage, the tight view doesn't do it justice, but when you see the wall that the Okanagan Sun are able to put together, look at all these orange jerseys between O'Shea and the coverage team. Aside from this one contained guy doing his job, I think that was number 36, Colton Cannon. He was the last man there. If Colton Cannon didn't force O'Shea to run out of real estate, that was a touchdown again for O'Shea.
Kruger back to pass. Garwood looking for a lane and swallowed up for a gain of about 4 yards here. It's going to be 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, it was one of the linebackers, Jaden Craig, for the Kodiaks, and I think the Kodiaks, they know the passing attack is going to be hard to stop, regardless who's at quarterback. Kruger's got a great arm, and they got great receiving core. They've got to stop the run. The front 7 are going to be keying on the run game, forcing the Sun to pass, and then do something else. So the Kodiaks are going to try and dominate the line of scrimmage as best they can.
Kruger again. Now he's going to take a shot to the end zone. Oh, and in and out of the hands for Mike O'Shea. He wants a flag, and he's not going to get it.
I like the ref keeping that flag in there. I know they're doing some hand checking, but I think that's just good defensive ball. This is a young DB. I think that's number 7. Marcellus Pope, who's a quality defensive back. That's some just good hand checking. He's entitled to that space as a defensive back. O'Shea's going past him. If he's not grabbing or hindering O'Shea getting up that field, awesome defense. And I love the fact that the refs kept the flag in their pocket. But I am a defensive-minded guy.
Aren't we all? Back at the pistol here, 3rd down. The Sun are going for it here. Kruger up the middle. Miletto's got the catch. And Mr. Reliable has extended the drive here for the Okanagan Sun. And you're in that purgatory zone. The ball's in the 35, and it's raining. No disrespect to Liam Atwood, but that's a tough field goal to make from 42, 43 yards in the rain.
Absolutely. You never know what the wind's going to do. It's died down right now, but we've seen it going across the field. We've seen it coming from the north side down, and now it's still. So you never know what's going to happen. Great gutsy call by the coaching staff for the Sun, and just a beauty call, too. They cleared out those flats. Quick hitter and a 1st down.
Kruger with the play action, and the Kodiaks read that one like a book. Coming in hot was Nick Tremblay. And that's a good sack there for the Prince George Kodiaks.
Yeah, Tremblay read the play well. He came off that side. Whether it was a blitz or I'll have to see if he starts lining up regularly on that weak side line of scrimmage like that. But he came off that weak side, saw that there wasn't a handoff down on that RPO search by Kruger, and great play. Came down and made the quarterback. Allowed the quarterback not to get outside for that naked boot and either decide to run or throw the ball downfield. Great job by Tremblay.
It's going to be 2nd down and 15 here. Looking for a lane now. Kruger up the middle. O'Shea's got it. What a catch. It's going to be 1st down and goal for the 2-yard line.
That's tough. The Kodiaks got to start, as I said previous, they're going to want to start stopping the run. But when you know it's a passing situation, you've got to realize their number 1 target is going to be Mike O'Shea. That said, maybe play like a spy defense where you're keying on a man-to-man on O'Shea and then zone around him. So no matter where he's running to, there's going to be a double team.
And now they're going to run it with Garwood. Garwood muscles his way.
I don't know if the scrum push got him in.
They're going to say they're going to mark him down inside the 1-yard line. So it's going to be goal line defense, goal line offense coming out for both teams. And what do you do here if you're Travis Miller? We've seen some interesting play calls in situations like this, he doesn't mind the quarterback running the ball on a bootleg.
No, or, a quick play action pass maybe, and he boots out, but maybe just try and get it over quick.
And we got a false start here, which is going to bring things back. And Matthew Kling is down for the Okanagan Sun. Not sure what happened there. He gets back up. Matthew Kling, tougher than a $2 steak.
So it didn't seem like there was a penalty, but the Kodiaks called a timeout before the snap. Seems to be, so that's good for the Sun. No problem, they're not losing those 5 yards. It's still going to be that 2nd and goal from the 1. So that's nice. You can still just smash mouth football. Now, they just gave it away because the snap did get off. So in that power I formation, the Kodiaks would have seen that they were running a play action with a naked boot by Kruger, and they did have, I believe it was Bymack out there with him, and whether Bymack was going to block and then release or just block in the line of scrimmage and let Kruger decide where he was going to attack that goal line. But we'll see what the Okanagan Sun do on this second chance.
So now they're getting set here. They're going to go I formation. The fullback in is Colby Miletto. The running back is Javon Garwood. 3 receivers to the right, none to the left. This is an interesting call here. Do you go maybe a bootleg? Do you just run it up the gut and trust in Javon Garwood? That's exactly what they do. Touchdown. There is a flag on the play. We'll see who it's on.
Yeah, they just had Bymack as kind of like an off-wing fullback / tight end on that. So I think he kind of knew based on that it was going to just be a power run, stop Garwood a second time. Good luck kind of thing, right, with the O-line that he has in front of him and Mateo as a fullback. So, yeah. Miletto, sorry.
And it's offside on the defense, so that play will stand. Javon Garwood, back-to-back games with a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, good job by the Sun. This is going to be tough for the Kodiaks if it proves to be where the Sun can put points up on every drive. This is going to become a long afternoon very quickly for the Kodiaks, and I'm sure the travel was already long enough for them. So they got to try and get their offense moving the ball, at least to give their defense a rest, and then see what they can do and on their defense as well to try and curb the attack of the Okanagan Sun.
So the extra point from Liam Atwood is good. The score, 10-0 for the Okanagan Sun with 6:32 to go here in the first quarter. We're going to take a break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Chase Johnston here, the voice of the Okanagan Sun, alongside Jason Casey, former coach of the Okanagan Sun, now color commentator. We're paying him the big bucks this year.
Move up.
Kickoff from Isaac Wagner is accepted by Keon Raymond Jr. Or, pardon me, once again, that's not Keon Raymond Jr., that's Marquise Banks. And Banks tackled before the 20. Special teams to the Okanagan Sun. We talk about Mike O'Shea. We talk about Isaac Wagner. We talk about Liam Atwood, but it's about just the supporting staff for this special teams that makes the special team so great.
Absolutely. Beauty kick. You had to take that at the goal line. That's an awesome kick in the Canadian game when you can boot it that deep. I know there's a bit of a penalty there, but you always want to pin them deep. And then, yeah, the rookie Statham and Peddle were both down there on that coverage, and Banks had nowhere to go yet again.
It'll be first down and 10 for the Kodiak offense. Looking to get back into this game after a difficult 3-and-out.
2-and-out, coach.
Or
Chase?
Me, 2-and-out. I've been watching American college football this morning. Big win in Dublin, Ireland.
I saw that game too. It was a great game.
Fantastic game to open the NCAA season, the unofficial start.
I thought Nebraska would pull it out, but yeah, the running game for Northwestern was just on point. Yeah, simple little toss play there. They're reading what the defensive front. So the Kodiaks are trying to get a feel for what the front seven are going to do to them. The Okanagan Sun front seven, to see what their play calling can kind of start including. However, to be getting into second and shorts and now second and longs because they lost 2 yards on this play, that's not something an offense like the Kodiaks need to do up against a defense like the Sun on the road.
Especially against the best front seven in the country in the Okanagan Sun. Back to pass here. The Kodiaks are going to look for some running room. We have a flag on the play. The ball is loose. Looking for another fumble recovery here, or the Sun, but there is not one but 2 flags. We have 2 completely different penalties here.
I think both flags are going to be against the Sun. Great decision for Oskowski to get out there and run. It was a perfect decision, try and gain as many yards as possible. But again, when you're holding that ball out like that, once you commit to being a running quarterback, tuck that away and get upfield. You know you're going to be against some of the best tacklers and ball hawks in the game today. So protect that football, get as many yards as possible, either for your punter if you come up short, or make the first guy miss and get that first down. That said, I think it's going to be a holding call actually against PG, and then the other sideline penalty I think is going to be against the Sun. I think someone was holding back Oskowski to try and get back his own fumble, and yeah, it's not like fighting with your brothers in the basement. You can't quite do that, so you're going to get called that all day long.
That's the exact analogy I was thinking about when I saw that play. Is me trying to do that to my older brother and vice versa.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Now, do these penalties offset, Jason? We're about to find out here.
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
That's fucking awful. First down.
And they're going to say it's a first down from
Yeah,
the 20-yard line. Now, that is very confusing.
I don't understand. So are they saying they impose the Okanagan Sun penalty first, which would give the Kodiaks a first down, and then you impose the penalty against the Kodiaks, and that's where they're starting? But that doesn't make sense because the Kodiaks infraction was first.
No.
So I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind that. I don't think the Sun really care at this matter because 1st and 10 from your own 1, that's a tough place to be in the Canadian game.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion going on right now on why that penalty is called, and
Hey, check ball.
we'll have to wait and see here. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 2-yard line for the Kodiaks. Oskowski's going to have to throw that one. What a catch by Erickson, and he earned it. Isaac Wagner drilled him as soon as he caught that ball, and he held on to it.
Yeah, good read by Oskowski. This is a perfect read, just a quick hitch up the field to get that first down, get out of the shadows of your own goal post. But beauty catch by Erickson, because that closing speed of Wagner was terrific, and he put a lick on Erickson, who was able, when you're getting hit behind right as you catch the ball, that's not often where you see the receiver hold on to that ball because the impact jars it loose, but good job on Erickson holding that ball.
1st down and 10, and that's the first down here of the game for the Kodiaks. And look out, they're under pressure now. Oskowski needs to escape it, and he'll get some good yardage there, but I have a feeling this play is coming back. It's more than likely a hold on this Kodiaks offensive line.
Yeah, when you got a quarterback squirming like that and starting to scramble, oftentimes you see a holding call, just the O-line's trying to give him that little half step separation from the defense putting that pressure, but pressure right away in the backfield by the Okanagan Sun. Oskowski wasn't even able to get set in that little naked boot to the west side, or the weak side, to see where he was going to make his reads. Oh.
And it's a hands to the face on the
Second time I'm wrong today. Jeez. So I didn't see that, so good job on the refs to see that, and PG right now, the Kodiaks are going to take any help they can on this drive. They were 1st and 10 on their 1, and now they're starting to close in on midfield on their second drive of the afternoon. So good for them at taking advantage against a top opponent.
So 1st down and 10 from the Kodiaks 40, and they are really creating some serious breathing room for themselves.
Yes, no, this is exactly what you want to see. Although it's been heavily helped by errors by the Okanagan Sun. Hey, that happens in football. Take advantage of that. Get your the quarterback. So Oskowski wants to get the rest of his team calm and say, hey, let's take advantage of this. You don't need these kind of penalties where you're getting procedure like this, you want to get that little bit of momentum. Take advantage of mistakes by the Sun. Don't start shooting yourself in the foot. You're already behind the 8 ball score-wise. You're on the road against the #1 team in the country. Let's try and make it the best as you can on each situation.
First down and 15 after the penalty. Laskowski, look out, he's got pressure. It's going to be a screen pass. Looking for his running back, Brown, and Brown, decent yardage. Won't be enough for a first down, but it'll be about 8 yards there.
Yeah, good call by the coaching staff of the Kodiaks. I think it was Bohan that got in there a little too easy. When anytime a defensive end or a defensive tackle gets through that line of scrimmage that easy, the play side guys got to realize, oh, I got a screen coming up. You put on the brakes, let one of the defensive guys get in there. Like, I think Kellen Thomas on the backside swim moved his O-tackle quite nicely, but as soon as you realize, oh, I got by that O-line way too easy, ding, 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 this is a screen, you got to find out that running back or receiver screen, turn around and come make that tackle from behind. But that said, yet again, another penalty, and when you're 1st and 25, this limits your play calling on a 1st and 25 against the top defense of the Okanagan Sun. And we got a timeout now as well.
And we do have a timeout. It's a good opportunity to take a 30-second break. Score 10-0 for the Okanagan Sun. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Chase Johnston here, the voice of the Okanagan Sun and Director of Marketing and Communications with the Okanagan Sun. The Sun with a 10-0 lead as we are hitting 3:32 left here in the first quarter. Jason Casey, former head coach of the Okanagan Sun, joining me here on the broadcast. Big first down play, but it's first down in a mile. 1st and 25 here after a series of penalties for the Prince George Kodiaks. Laskowski back in the shotgun here. Needs a big play to get some more breathing room, and he's running out of time and just gets the ball away and takes a hit. Quaz Bohan has just been a force over the last 2 weeks. For those of you who don't know the name Quaz Bohan, he played for York University for 4 years, was supposed to transfer to the University of Alberta, but cannot. He has to wait a full year to get his graduate studies in. So he needs a place to play. Why not the #1 team in the country, the Okanagan Sun?
And you can certainly tell. He's number 55 on your screen, folks, those that are watching on BCFC TV. And you can tell he's had that high-level experience in youth sports, because right now he's getting past the guards and tackles of the Kodiaks O-line with little effort. I say that because he's so skilled. His spin move and his quick swim move, he's getting that depth right away, and that's wreaking havoc for Oskowski. And that said, too, I was kind of disappointed in that play call previous. 1st and 25, it looked like they were trying to just do some crossers, and when you know the Sun are likely going to be in zone, behind that, stretch the Okanagan Sun a little bit. You got to put some kind of pressure on them downfield. Erickson just did, like a 5-yard dig. He had another in across and behind him, and I think that's where Oskowski is going on his second read, but you got to stretch the Okanagan Sun. If you're going to make them make plays, you've got to put some kind of pressure on the verticals, and that's just not happening right now. And that was another penalty that we just missed against the Kodiaks.
So it's now 2nd down and 30. Yes, that's 2nd down and 30 here for the Kodiaks. So let's see what Oskowski can do. He takes a huge hit as he just gets the ball off. Holy smokes, that is the Vernon native, Grayson Statham, and he has just been another guy who we had no idea he would have the impact his rookie year, but here he is.
I love him. You look at him, you think he's looking like an undersized defensive lineman, like he's playing that rush end, kind of outside linebacker for him, but he's so quick and so smart as a young football player. Absolutely put a great lick on Oskowski. Oskowski, I'm impressed. It looked like he felt that pressure. He wanted to take time to throw it downfield, but he knew he was going to take a lick and just dumped it to one of his his running back, Keanu Brown. And yeah, smart plays by Oskowski, because that could have been a lot uglier than just getting smacked by Steve.
Kodiaks back to punt. Mike O'Shea there to receive. O'Shea needs some room. He needs some blockers. Here he comes. Mike O'Shea's going to go wide right. Can he get the blockers? Mike O'Shea, look at that burst. Mike O'Shea for the third straight week. Punt return for a touchdown.
The kid gives me goosebumps. He's so impressive. When you watch the replay, folks, looking on BCFC TV, and I'll describe it for the radio fans, he gives up yards to get the corner. He knows how important it is to get that corner with his blockers. He gives up easily almost 10 or 12 yards to get that corner, knowing that it's going to pay off with a big return, regardless if he gets paid or not. But because he's so smart, the blockers have an easy, when you have a kick returner like that, your life as a blocker in open field like that is easy because he uses you. He sets up your blocks by those little jukes and head movement, a couple steps here and there, east-west, as he's heading upfield. The kid's just so damn impressive as a return man.
Mike O'Shea, and you got to wonder if teams are starting to take notice, starting to watch game film. Do you really want to
kick it out of bounds? Don't even give him a chance to get a sniff of the football. Work on your punting, kick it to the weak side because that's the closest sideline to hit. Tell your punter that if you can give me at least 30, 35 yards net, kick that pigskin out of bounds and don't even let Mike O'Shea get a sniff of that football.
55-yard punt return for a touchdown. And Mike O'Shea might just earn himself a third straight special teams player of the week.
Well, yeah, that was a big one. What was that? Probably easily a 50, 55-yarder again. And he's already had another one that puts him, he'll get 100 yards punt return if you're crying out loud today.
55-yard punt return for a touchdown. Isaac Wagner will kick this one off. Wind again picking up. It looks like, though, the rain has stopped. That's good news for the fans. And you know what, the players too. But
oh, yeah.
The kick is away there as Wagner will kick it to Keon Raymond Jr. Keon Raymond Jr. breaks a tackle. Look out, here comes Keon Raymond Jr.
Oh, nice stiff arm.
He is elusive. And finally tackled at the 27-yard line. Tristan Peddle will get credit for that one, but for Keon Raymond Jr., that was very stunning. And he even gets some props there from Quaz Bois in there.
Yeah, no, that was a great return. Shaking off the returners. Like, you can tell he's a quality running back because he's making guys just bounce off him. And when you see that stiff arm as well, there's nothing better than a running back or receiver giving a good stiff arm right in the forehead of someone who's trying to tackle them. But that said, great. I like the hang time on Wagner's kicks right now. He gets the great hang time, the speed of that coverage for the Okanagan Sun. Oh.
And unfortunately
that's
for the
tough.
Kodiaks, there is a blindside block penalty. And that's going to bring them way back inside at the 12-yard line. So the field position has just been brutal for the Kodiaks to start this game. There's still a minute 49 to go here in the first quarter. 17-0 in favor of the Okanagan Sun.
Yeah, they're losing the field position battle because their offense is faltering and shooting themselves in the foot, but also because of the kicking game, whether they're giving up big returns or touchdowns, and they've got to get something going without making these mental mistakes by the Kodiaks offense. Nice read.
And a beautiful catch up the middle for the Kodiaks. That's Noah Lank with the catch, tackled by Prince George native Garrett Kate.
And that's a great play call by the Kodiaks offensive staff. Get back, he's already in shotgun, 1 or 2 steps back, look off the safety, and then just fire that seam like a rocket. Hit that receiver about 12, 15 yards downfield on a laser. You're looking off the safety, you come back to your number one choice and throw it in there, get it quick, get it off before the pressure comes from the D-line, and you get the ball to the receiver before coverage can adjust.
First down and 10 here. Moskowski. Another catch for Lank. Lank trying to get some room. Look at him just push his way forward just past the 42-yard line. So that could be enough for a first down. We'll see where they spot it.
Yeah, these are back-to-back great calls. I like that. We're seeing Oskowski he's getting comfortable with those quick shots now. I don't think they need to have it where he needs to move outside the pocket or have long reads. Get that snap, look off the safety, or find that receiver. Look off a halfback, find this kind of weak these mid-range flats on the weak side, the previous play that we just saw. Let the receiver make someone miss, turn those short, whether they're 7, 8, 9 yards, make those short passes turn into first downs by the receiver's legs, not just the quarterback's arm.
First down and 10 now from the 41. Botch snap. It goes over the head of Oskowski. Oskowski, look out. Quaz Bowen. He dodges that tackle, but can't beat Romario Reed, who comes in on with the sack.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, hindsight 2020, you think, oh, maybe Oskowski picks up the ball and just looks weak. And if he can't get the first receiver, then throw it out of bounds. But that said, when you've got two Okanagan Sun guys bearing down on you, sure, you made the first one miss, but odds are you're not going to make that second one miss. And unfortunately, the Kodiaks offense are paying for it right now.
We have an injured player on the field on the Okanagan Sun side, Sheldon Gerlib, so we'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. Sheldon Gerlib back on the bench, getting tended to by the athletic therapist of the Sun. It is second down and 26 after that Romario Reed sack. Oskowski, he's just going to throw it deep. Why not take a shot here? And he got bumped there by Peyton Turner. Pardon me, that's Zach Parker, I believe. No, I got Tyler Turner, not Peyton. Tyler Turner, the defensive back, and the Sun will get the ball back. It's Kodiaks on the punt away. Yeah, not a bad choice by Oskowski to go downtown like that. I think the receiver Brown was just looking, Andrew Brown was looking back too soon. And that always slows down these younger receivers. You got to just get upfield, get either in line or past the defender, and then start looking over your shoulder. He did come up with his hands up, hoping for a call, but that ball was uncatchable. And again, it's just good hand checking by the defense. Matthew Uriah K. Mitchell back to punt this one away. Now we have a flag. Procedure. And now we'll push the Kodiaks even further back. It's going to be third down and 31 here. And we've yet to see the Kodiaks even get the ball into Sun territory yet. The whole first quarter has been on one side of the field. Yeah, it's been in front of the Okanagan Sun defense, or sorry, bench. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because we've seen moments of brilliance, and I do mean that quite literally because they've shown their talent and play calling, the Kodiaks, where they've moved the ball well, they've taken advantage of the defenses that the Sun have called. They've made some plays by making some defenders miss them, but then they in turn shoot themselves in the foot and get into these situations where it's second and third and long, and you just can't get your play calling going. Your offensive scheme plan just isn't built for that. This will be the last play here of the first quarter. O'Shea gets drilled. There's a flag on the play, and for obvious reason, no time at all. O'Shea's clearly hot. Now the benches are clearing. And immediately we got cooler heads trying to prevail, but Mike O'Shea was clearly, and I mean clearly, upset that he wasn't given any time, and I think for the Okanagan Sun, rightfully so here, for them to be upset. Yeah, he was easily within that 5-yard halo for sure, and it's one thing to do it when you're on a mistake and maybe you clip the guys you're trying to get out of his way when you clip the returner, but when you put a lick on any returner like that, of course they're going to be coming up hot. That's a safety thing. That's why this rule is in here, because we don't have a fair catch rule in the Canadian game. That's why there's that 5-yard halo. When you come in hot like that, that's a 15-yard penalty. If you come in accidental, if you come into that halo and then it shows that you're backing out or you try and miss them, you might get away with a 5-yard penalty, but this will easily be a 15-yard penalty against the Kodiaks coverage team. All right, that will be the end of the first quarter here. We'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
offensive final play of the first quarter, one quarter score, Okanagan 7-17. And Prince George Kodiaks no score. Now it's time to head down to the park and say hello to Calvin the Hector. Calvin.
What's going on, Sun fans? I'm here with Todd and Megan, and they'll be competing for 2 passes to Denton on the diamond next weekend. Alright, that's Megan's question. Now, Megan, J.J. Wyatt was supposed to perform at last year's diamond. Instead, she's performing at this year's Denton on the diamond. Which group replaced her last year? That is correct. The two of you have only a pair of passes to Denton on the diamond. Sun fans, there's still time for you to enter a second set of tickets. Visit the merchandise tent to fill out a ballot, and the next runner will be drawn again in the third quarter. Let's go, Sun.
Welcome back to the Apple Bowl, JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150. The Sun with a 17-0 lead here, and the offense is back. Big story of the game, Liam Kruger getting the start in at quarterback here for the Sun. As we're going to see a lot of backups in this game, with the Sun being the #1 team in the country, and they're playing a club that's an expansion club here in the Prince George Kodiaks. This is no knock on the Kodiaks at all. In fact, they've played solid football for being an expansion team this year, Jason.
They're a quality team. They got quality coaches. They've got some quality young players. They've got some veterans from around other football leagues around Canada. And yeah, they're not a slouch team, but they're in a tough situation right now, deep in their own zone. They're behind the 8-ball score-wise. And on that last play, Garwood just a big-on-big run play. He came up and got to the outside and just got a first down, easy peasy.
First down, and a botched snap goes right through Liam Kruger's hands. He somehow gets it back, but he's sacked. He'll lose about 5 or 6 yards on the play. The ball will be spotted at the 31, and it's going to be second down and long coming up.
Yeah, it was kind of just to the right of Kruger. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the ball's a little wet, coming off the grass there. You're not quite sure, because we've seen it on both teams right now, right? We've seen some bad snaps. They've all been either high or kind of off center. There's nothing that's been in the dirt, which normally you think where the ball might be a little slick, but yeah, unfortunately now they're in second and long for the Okanagan side. In good field position still, but second and long.
Kruger, empty formation. Now he's got lots of receivers to choose from. It goes for Pharrell Kenfack, and Kenfack tackled at the 29-yard line. So we'll see what the Sun do here. This will be about a 36, 37-yard field goal here. Remember, Liam Atwood made a 37-yarder earlier. I will say that this is going to be more than likely the same distance here, just on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, good call by the Okanagan Sun. Let's get these points. Good defense by the Kodiaks in that. Play some simple zone behind that. Let the play develop in front of you. And then it was Simpson, the defensive back for the Kodiaks, that came off his receiver super quick. As soon as he saw that ball in the air, he knew where it was going, came up and made a terrific open field tackle.
This is actually going to be a longer field goal here. This is actually going to be from about 40. And that is wide left. Wide left. The ball is going to bounce all the way towards the back of the end zone, and it's going to be a rouge for the Okanagan Sun. It's going to be 18-0 here. And Liam Atwood's going to want that one back, as it just sailed left to the field goal post.
Yeah, and it's too bad that the Kodiaks, it seemed like they were going to give up the rouge no matter what. I would have liked to have seen Keon Raymond, the second, back there and taken that missed field goal. It wasn't a far enough field goal that you knew that odds are it was always going to land around the goal line. You figure that a kicker like Atwood is going to get that distance past those uprights, and on a miss, you want to maybe do something. See if you can set up a big return. If not, then take a knee before you cross that goal line out of the end zone. But I would have liked to see the Kodiaks try to maybe do something spectacular on that missed field goal.
First down and 10. And the Kodiaks trying to get something going here, Jason, here in quarter number 2. And it's going to be a short gain, if anything, a loss of 1, actually. That's exactly what we're going to spot him at the 34-yard line of the Prince George end. So, once again, PG just cannot be getting themselves in this situation where they're second and long.
No, I think they should know Thomas and company on the defensive front, those front four big boys. You're not going to get any separation there. Don't try and attack just up the gut like that. Start spraying the ball with your arm and allow that to open up, and then just get some swings and some tosses with your running game.
We're going to rush 4 here. Look out, Kalon Thomas right up in his grill. They're going to throw it. It's caught. Not enough for a first down. Huge tackle made by the veteran, Tyler Going.
Yeah, beauty open field tackle, shoestring tackle by Going. Good read by Oskowski. He felt the pressure, stepped up in the pocket, which is great. He's a confident quarterback stepping up in the pocket like that and finding his second or third read. Just a quick little dump over the middle, and maybe you can get a receiver. That was Brown again, I believe, Andrew Brown, missing. But when you got a talented tackler like Going behind you, odds are he's not going to miss that. And you know, it was a good chance by the Kodiaks to get that first down, and now we've got third and 4, 3rd and 5.
Back to punt here are the Kodiaks. Back to receive. It appears to be, once again, Mike O'Shea. And that one's a huge boomer caught by O'Shea. And he's got some room now. O'Shea. And O'Shea has another lane down the sideline and then takes a big hit out of bounds. And again, Mike O'Shea with some words at the Kodiak bench. And we do apologize for the profanity from the Kodiaks coaches that are in the booth next to us, if you did hear that. It's clearly the Kodiak coaching staff frustrated.
Yeah, good kick by the Kodiaks. It had good distance. There was no hang time, so it's tough to get your coverage team down there when there's no hang time on a kick. But Mike O'Shea is so deceivingly good at using the sidelines as another blocker. You think he's just going to step out of bounds, but he just stops his speed a little bit, sets up that, and then turns on the jets up against the sidelines. So talented.
First down and 10, Liam Kruger. Throwing it wide left, caught by the veteran Blaise Beauchemin. And Beauchemin rumbles down for a gain of 12 yards. It's a first down for the Okanagan Sun.
Yeah, good play call. Mileto kind of cleared the zone going out there. Tonagay was out there as well blocking. And yeah, you just little hitch and quick screen, wide receiver screen by the Okanagan Sun, and let, again, the receiver do all the work and get those positive yards. He wasn't even touched until 8-9 yards downfield and was able to power forward for that first down.
10.5 minutes remaining here in quarter number 2. 18-0 to score. First down and 10. And play action pass. Kruger going to throw it deep, looking for Bymack. Does he have it? No. And that was a tight window there for Noah Bymack, who had to come back to make that catch here.
Yeah, and that was a great play action pass. A lot of guys kind of jumped on that, but it almost seemed like, I don't know if it was designed to be underthrown a little bit, but I felt like Kroger could have really stepped into it. Now, I don't know if it's because he was feeling pressure and just wanted to get into the area where the receiver could only catch it, and that's why he threw it kind of short into the outside shoulder. But I think if he stepped and put everything into that, he could have thrown his receiver open.
And Kruger now avoiding pressure on second down. He's going to throw it deep. Intercepted! And the Kodiaks fumble after the interception, but I think they're going to spot it down. There's a flag on the play for a clear face mask as the helmet came flying off. A great pick there from Shandon Donovan.
Beauty pick. Underthrown again. Beauty pick, and then yeah, add insult to injury after an interception like this. You can't head tackle and wrangle someone's helmet off like that. So yeah, good job for the Kodiaks. They stopped another quality drive of the Okanagan Sun. You made the quarterback pay for a poor throw. It stuck to your guns and man coverage in that, going up against top receivers, and now you're going to get a free extra 15 yards on top of it.
So the face mask will add yardage here for the Kodiaks. So now they're starting to catch some breaks. The ball will be spotted at their own 29-yard line. And hopefully for the Kodiaks, Liam Oskowski can go to work here. And it's all about now this offensive line. You're going to see the size difference between the defensive line of the Sun and the offensive line of the Kodiaks. Oskowski, shotgun. And that's actually a different quarterback in for the Kodiaks. Ball is caught. That's Evan Ingram making the reception. And in at quarterback now is Keegan Henderson. Now we'll keep our eyes peeled. It doesn't look like there's an injury to Oskowski.
Yeah, they might be just trying something a little different. They're also doing full package. That they've got shotgun split, so they got both running backs in the backfield, and they're helping with the block now, which makes sense because you got to give your quarterbacks time to throw. Beauty catch by Ingram as well, but I'll also like to see the Kodiaks start flaring out those running backs as well to see if they can't get a mismatch in coverage with a linebacker.
2nd down and a half yard. Now they're going to run it. What a run there. And making a nice move is Keanu Brown. I can give you an update on the starting quarterback, Liam Oskowski. He is in the medical tent right now for the Prince George Kodiaks, getting his what appears to be ankle looked at. And we will keep our eyes peeled to see if he will return. Right now, both of his cleats are off. So for this drive, we'll more than likely see Keegan Henderson. 1st down and 10 from the Prince George 47-yard line, and this is the closest PG has been to getting into Sun territory. Flag on the play, and batted away, out of midair, and it goes to the Okanagan Sun. I think it was Christian Horner, but I believe the play is going to come back. It's going to be offside on the Okanagan Sun.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I didn't see who actually jumped, but because it's the side judge, I don't know why he would be calling the defense onside unless we're seeing someone line up in the interior offside within that 1 yard line. So that's unfortunate for the Okanagan Sun. Kudos to the Kodiaks for still sniffing that ball out and at least tackling the defender. You don't want to see, you know, a knockdown, an interception like that returned for a touchdown. So the Kodiaks have got to stay on in offense, but they've got to get something going. When you want quick hitters like that, when you've got good, tall defensive ends like the Okanagan Sun does, you got to try and chop them down. You got to block them low and make them look at their legs or protect their legs and then throw over their head. That's a tough 5-yard penalty. Really tough considering what it just takes away.
First down and 5 now. Henderson back to pass. Henderson's going to take a shot deep, contested, making the grab, but making it out of bounds. What a catch for Evan Ingram, but unfortunately for the Kodiaks, it was out of bounds. And you got to love the play calling from Khalif Raymond. Or not Khalif Raymond, rather, but Keon Raymond.
Yeah, no, that's a great play call. Henderson steps into this ball, delivers a beauty, just probably a yard and a half too wide to the sidelines. Doesn't give Ingram a chance to get at least 1 foot down, but good job on Ingram. He was even a little undersized compared to the defensive coverage there, and he was still able to get that ball hauled in. Just unfortunately, just a little bit wider than the 65-yard field.
2nd down and 5 from the 52. Can Prince George get into Sun territory here? Look out, here comes the blitz. Tyler going. Oh, he just misses a sack. And rushing for the first down is the backup quarterback, Keegan Henderson. What a play by Henderson to make himself elusive.
It looks great for Henderson coming off the bench like this. First series kind of midway through the 2nd quarter. Making a stud like going miss you and still know that I got to at least get the first down. Anything else after that is gravy. Protect that football, take that first lick, get down, and get those chains moving.
For Tyler Going, this is like a 5th-year player on the Sun team. And he just, you know, to fool him, you know, that's a skill amongst itself from a backup quarterback. Henderson again. He's going to hand it off to his running back. Short gain here for the Kodiaks. But hey, this is the first drive where the Kodiaks have actually marched it into Okanagan Sun territory.
Yeah, I'm liking what they're doing as a whole. I think I'd like to see, though, these first play calls to get them more into a 2nd and mid-range and 2nd and short as opposed to a 2nd and long. And I just don't think just a straight-up power running between the tackles is going to get it done. I think you got to make the Okanagan Sun work a little harder on the run game. So whether you're attacking them on the outside or whether you do some pulls or some traps and maybe get somebody ear hold on a tackle or a defensive end. But I think big on big, you're just not going to win as a Kodiaks offense.
2nd down. Henderson looking to pass, and Isaac Wagner. That was a dangerous position for Henderson to put his wide receiver in. Even if Matthew Mitchell caught that ball, he had a couple guys, including Isaac Wagner, coming in hot.
Yeah, it's still impressive, though. That's the spot where Henderson, that's the only spot he could put that in. With that great defensive coverage by the Sun, there's a lot of orange jerseys there. He put it in a spot where either my receiver's catching it or no one is. Yeah, it looked like, he would have taken a lick, but I think with defensive backs and outside linebackers that the Okanagan Sun has, when you're playing receiver against them, you're going to take licks regardless. So, no, I think that was a great spot for Henderson to put the ball. Just unfortunately, it was good coverage behind that receiver, and there was no way they were going to get a first down.
So back to punt this ball away, and again, small victories here for the Prince George Kodiaks. They've held the Sun to only 18 points so far, and we're just under 6 minutes to go. And now they're going to go with an interesting play here. It's a short punt. And that is just maybe them trying to send a message to Mike O'Shea saying, we're not giving you the ball.
Well, and it's also just the way that formation was so that is Coulter Cannon coming around. So as that ball was kicked, Cannon was behind their punter, so he can go get the ball. He doesn't have to worry about the Okanagan Sun catching it. Cannon can go get the ball right away. So that's what they were trying to do, a pooch kick where Cannon could have just either caught it on the run or just scoop and start running. He is an eligible receiver, the punter, and anyone behind the punter is fair game for the Kodiaks to touch the ball right away. They don't have to give 5 yards or nothing.
And
that's what they were trying.
I was just going to say that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Jason Casey is my color commentator. That must be one of those Canadian football rules.
It is, because there's no fair catch and you have the no yards rule. The punter, if a punter shanks a kick, he's taught to go get the ball because he doesn't have to give 5 yards. A receiver the returner might be hanging back and thinking, oh, I'll just let the ball bounce, and then someone comes flying in. You're like, oh, that's a penalty, no yards, and then it's like, no, it's the kicker. They're allowed to do that. So anyone behind the kicker is fair game as well.
And they're going to try and run it, and Kruger gets rid of the ball, and it's caught by Bymack, and they're going to call it a sack. That's an unfortunate break there for the Okanagan Sun. What a catch by Bymack. What a job by Kruger to get rid of it.
Absolutely, while being pulled down. I didn't think his knee hit, so I thought maybe they're just calling him in the grass, but I don't know if we'll get a chance to tell if his knee's down. I don't know. That's just a beauty play by Kruger to keep his eyes looking downfield as he's being pulled down. Was his knee down? Oh, it's so quick, I don't know. Yeah. Still looking at it live, and even like it's a bad, an unfortunate angle. There's too much going on with how quick he does go down, but I just thought it was a great offensive play by Kruger, and to find Goshaman downfield, and Bymack, and when Bymack is staying alive for his quarterback. Oh, that is tough. If the ref to call that in live action, that's impressive for him to get that right.
The Sun will, the Sun, if they're gonna.
Oh no, I think that ball's out. That's a beautiful throw and catch.
Okay,
I'm throwing my 2 cents. I think that's just an unfortunate call against the Sun.
We'll call it a big break there for the Prince George Kodiaks. Yeah. And Isaac Wagner is back to punt this one. Not Wagner's best punt as it bounces to the 15. And here comes Keon Raymond Jr. Tackled at about his own 26-yard line. That's where the Kodiaks offense will go to work. Led by now backup quarterback Keegan Henderson.
Yeah, they're trying to make something. They're trying to get, anytime you can get your return game into that 30, 35-yard line, that's a great return. And the Kodiaks are trying to get every inch they can right now for their offense. But I just want to give a tip the hat to the BC FC TV crew to getting those replays together. That was awesome. I wasn't expecting to get all those angles and to have that super slow-mo at the end. So, yeah, kudos to them.
Shout out to Andrew in the truck. We know you're listening. Jeff, who's helping out among the many camera people that we have.
That's awesome footage.
And the best broadcast group in the BCFC. Shotgun formation, botch snap, just holding on to it, and the whistle blew. Are they just going to credit that with a sack here for the Sun? I believe they are.
Yeah, so unfortunately, second down now, second and long, and you can see the frustration out of Keno Brown there. He kind of threw his hands up knowing that was a bad snap, and probably had a really great play call. The blocking was going to be key, and probably could have got a really good play off based on the body language of Brown, the running back. And yeah, they've, again, when you get these advantages as the ball's moving forward, you can't take these little steps backwards. One step forward, 2 steps back is not going to help you when you're way behind the 8 ball score-wise and field position-wise.
Back to pass. Henderson just avoids a sack there from Bois, and then he avoids another sack from Thomas, and then Bois gets his muscles on him again. And it's going to be 3rd and very long, and the Kodiaks in the danger zone. They're going to have to punt out of their end zone here.
Yeah, I'm digging the tenacity of Henderson, but again, you're up against an opponent like the Okanagan Sun. It's the #1 team in the country. Sure, you're going to get once in a while, you're going to be able to tuck and make the first guy miss, and then you're coming out, and as it's a busted play and you're rolling out to the weak side, you're trying to square up and make a play. You've got to either get that ball away right away, throw it either over the head of a receiver, and either he can make a play high, or it's incomplete, or you decide to run and try and get something positive out of that. But you can't just keep trying to spin off, knowing that the ball hawks that you have as the D-line and linebacking core of the Okanagan Sun, that's gonna hurt you as this game goes on if you keep trying to do that.
So Mike O'Shea back to receive, but you can see Mike O'Shea, he's kind of looking at the punter saying, are you actually going to kick it to me here? And that's exactly what the Kodiaks do. Looking for a shot on O'Shea. O'Shea's going to go wide left. O'Shea looking for some space. He's got now a line of blockers on the left side. Mike O'Shea, can he stay on the line? He can! How on earth does he find the space? He's tackled inside the 11-yard line of the Prince George Kodiaks. And great field position for Liam Kruger and the Sun offense.
He is just so patient when he's along the sideline. You think most guys get nervous because like, oh, I'm on the sidelines, I'm on the number lines, and I've only got a yard to work with. Not Mike. Mike puts on the brake, stops. What are you going to give me? I'll take this, I'll take that. The caveat to that is I'm amazed that when the Kodiaks are lining up to punt and they're kicking weak, they've got one coverage guy on that wide side of the field for contain. I'm surprised they don't change their formation and put trips out there, so they've got 3 guys at least making Mike cut back into the center where your coverage team are, or staying on the weak side. I'm blown away by that coverage right now, knowing that he's the best returner in the country.
And now they're going to run it here. It's Aiden Weiberg. Weiberg muscles his way in. The West Kelowna native, back-to-back weeks with a rushing touchdown.
Good job for Aiden. He's such a powerful runner. He's not an overly huge running back, but the fact that as soon as he's running north-south, he's like, no, I'm getting to that goal line and you're not stopping me. Those legs don't stop, and awesome job back-to-back weeks like this for him, just running north-south like that, and good job at him keeping those legs moving.
Mike O'Shea's fantastic punt return leads to Aiden Weiberg's 2nd touchdown. We have an injured player down here for, it looks like the Okanagan Sun, so we'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to JDS, Energy and Mining, Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150.
Yeah, that's tough for the Kodiaks when you're giving up a big return like that, regardless if they score or not, and the offense scores, because often the majority of the guys that are on your punt coverage team are defensive players because they're good tacklers. They need to be good open field tackles. Many of them are starters. So now you give up a big return like that, and then you got to stay on the field and try and stop, pardon me, a high-powered offense. It just goes from ugly to uglier.
Extra point from Liam Atwood is good. The score now 25-0 in favor of the Okanagan Sun. We're going to take another break. You're listening to JDS, Energy and Mining, Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Okanagan Sun with a 25-0 lead thanks to an Aiden Weiberg rushing touchdown. Full credit for the work, though, was Mike O'Shea on yet another dangerous punt return, putting the Sun inside the red zone to start that series. Isaac Wagner back to kick this one off, and back to receive Noah Lank for the Kodiaks.
And Jean-Baptiste, we haven't seen him yet, but he doesn't get the ball.
And now looking for a lane here is Lank. Lank runs right into Grayson Statham.
Yeah, you can't be tentative in your decisions like that against a great coverage team in the Okanagan Sun. Find your blockers, find that seam, make that commitment going north-south. Unless you're an absolute speed demon, don't try and look like you're going to juke going outside any of the coverage. Just get up there, find that seam, keep those legs churning, and get as many possible yards as you can.
Kodiak offense goes back out here for their one of many series. Last one was actually decent. They got towards and inside the Sun territory. Small victories, Jason Casey.
Almost.
We'll see what Keegan Henderson can do here. First down and 10 for the Kodiak offense. I formation. And they fake the run, play action, bootleg here for Henderson. He gets the ball off, and almost it was in the hands of the wide receiver, Jared Annis. Missed opportunity for the Kodiaks.
Yeah, and I'm really liking this play call. This is a great play action pass. Almost looks like Peyton Manning back there hiding the ball, and that's a nice throw on the run with the defender in his face. Little probably maybe too much air on it, but that's because he had that pressure in his face. And then just great closing speed and coverage by Wagner back there. And Wagner's so lanky, he's going to be able to either knock that ball down or disrupt that receiver. But I'm liking how the Kodiaks offense seems to made a change with Henderson at quarterback. And that's not a slack on Oskowski. It's just something's changed mentally with the offense right now.
And another thing you don't expect out of an expansion team, a rookie team, they're really spreading the ball out. They're targeting different receivers. That's a good mix for a developing team.
Well, and you need it against a defense like the Okanagan Sun.
Second down and 10, shotgun. Henderson gonna take another shot, looking for the same receiver. Caught, and oh my goodness, Isaac Wagner. Smash mouth Sun football.
That was a beauty throw. Again, Henderson getting pressure in his face. He's making that first or second read as quick as he can. He's stepping into that ball, even though he took a look. A lot of quarterbacks won't step on his front foot like that. They're afraid of taking the hit. But yeah, again, Wagner's just a beast as a defender when he's coming up like that and making a hit on the receiver. They had a first down, and he just couldn't tuck it. We saw that earlier with Erickson where he was able to hold it in. That's what happens when you get hit hard behind like that. The ball just ricochets right off you, and that's just textbook defense by Wagner, and you could tell how dejected Annis is that he couldn't get the first down for his team.
If you're a CFL team watching this game, you know how good of a punter Isaac Wagner is. Why not fill another roster spot, throw him in at safety? The guy can throw
Double
hits.
duty.
We got a flag on the play here as Mike O'Shea has the ball. He has blockers with him. O'Shea looking for some room, and he'll just run it a bounce.
I think he kind of knows, I'm not going to waste this one. Yep.
Yeah. Mike O'Shea isn't even going to bother getting tackled here when he knows the play's coming back.
Yeah. Well, you make that point about Wagner not only as a great kicker, but as a free safety. That's a great Canadian spot on a CFL team. A tall, fast, lanky defender that can play free safety is often where you see top-notch Canadian football players break into a roster on CFL defense.
I've been distracted by a beautiful baby up here in the broadcast booth saying hello.
She might call a better game than us.
Yes, she would. And it, of course, will be a block on the receiving team. That's going to bring the Sun offense very back. There's still a minute 42, plenty of time in the Canadian League. 25-0. Can the Sun extend their lead? This if anything, has been probably the weakest offensive performance we've seen at home for the Okanagan Sun.
For a first half, absolutely, and this is an opportunity for Coach Miller and staff to get his players to practice their 2-minute offense, right? They're already well ahead. They've got nothing to lose. Okay, we got the last 2 minutes of the half. Let's see what we can do, at least getting in maybe for 3 points.
Kruger is going to hand it off to the rookie, Aiden Weiberg. Weiberg tackled for a loss. Kodiaks read that play very well. It's going to be second and long coming up here with a minute 41 to go.
Yeah, based on the front that the Kodiaks were putting in, it looked like they were knowing that, okay, we're going to stop this run regardless. If it's a play action pass, we'll play zone in behind it, let the play develop in behind us. But as soon as they see that it's handed off, they just want to attack that ball carrier as quick as they can, getting into a second and long. We haven't seen this often just on the merits of the Kodiaks defense. So for them to do it, this is a great little win for them. late in the second quarter.
Pistol formation. Kruger directing traffic. We have another flag on the play.
Time count.
And I believe it is a time count violation. Yeah. So that will bring it even further back. It's going to be second down and 17 coming up here.
Yeah, you get yourself in second and long. You've got to get the play calls in quick. That's the big difference about the Canadian game. We don't get 40 seconds to make things happen. You get 20 seconds. You got to get your man, your personnel on field. You got to get the play call on. You got to get to that ball and then start making your audibles and your reads. It's a quick turnaround between plays in the Canadian game.
So, Jason, what's your take here? What do you do as a head coach? What's your play call here? You're leading 25-0. Now you have the backup quarterback in the football game, and Liam Kruger.
Yeah, well, so on the offense, if it was second and long, I'd like to run a screen. I think screens are great against defenses that are keying in on the run. But now, yeah, just punt this ball out. Let Wagner just get his leg in behind it. I would try and pin him. I know they're kicking from the middle of the field, so based on what you know the strength direction is of your kicker, I'd get him to hit those numbers. If he likes kicking right or if he likes kicking left, I tell him to place the ball on those numbers, get the guys corralled, just get the Kodiaks back on the field and get this half over with.
So Isaac Wagner is just going to punt this ball away here. And we'll see if we can see one of those beautiful booming kicks there from Wagner. Instead, it's a line drive that bounces just inside Kodiak territory. Accepted by Keon Raymond Jr. Raymond Jr., so elusive. Look at him go, he jukes. Now he's got a little bit of a running lane here. Keon Raymond, very impressive return.
Again, I said it before with Mike O'Shea, quality guys, so you can tell that Keon Raymond is not only a great defensive back, but also a great return man, because he's giving up yards knowing that it's going to pay off. He's trying to make guys miss. He's trying to set up blocks. Mike O'Shea does it better than anybody, but that was great to see Raymond do that, where he kept giving up yards, making a guy miss at the shoestring, diving at his legs to get that corner so he could turn on his jets.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. This is the best field position the Kodiaks have had all game.
If they could put 3 points on the board, this would be a huge victory for them, going out of the half with putting some points on the board.
Back to pass is Keegan Henderson. Henderson, look out. Too many orange jerseys around. And the ball actually bounced into the hands of his offensive lineman. We'll see what the penalty call is. Is there going to be a hold on the Kodiaks? You have to assume.
Yeah, it could have been, because we're trying to set up the screen, so maybe, it looked like the center was holding there, but Henderson's got to realize, even though the play would have been null and void, when you're setting up a screen like that, he's got to extend his arm high. Maybe he saw a seam between the defender's arms, but you got to dump that over the defender, get a really big, 2 or 3 arc on that, drop it into his receiver, because the running back they had set up behind there was actually open. It was a great play call, just unfortunately the penalty and then the low throw disallowed it.
All right, here we are, 53 seconds remaining, and the holding penalty will take them way back. It's smart for the Sun to accept. Well out of field goal range now.
Yeah, so the Kodiaks need to get a pass play where they're getting at least 8 to 10 yards. 8 to 10 yards right now, get it back, get into a second and long where they might be able to put themselves into field goal position.
Sun blitz 5, and they try and get the ball out, in and out of the hands there. Tough catch to make for Andrew Brown, and it's going to be 2nd and 20 here. And that penalty is really killing the Kodiaks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it put him in this situation now. Not getting any yardage on that first down really hurts the Kodiaks. It limits their second play call, and odds are it's going to take away the opportunity they have for a field goal. But that said, if they get enough yards on the second down, well, they got nothing to lose. It's the game, the half is almost over. Maybe they end up going for it on that third down.
In at defensive end is the rookie Grayson Statham. Snap taken. Keegan Henderson, look out. Tyler Going brings him down. And Tyler Going says, fool me once, fool me twice. I got you.
And that was a covered sack. When we see the wide, look, Henderson's making his read, he's got nowhere to go. He wanted to make his first read, there's coverage. And then as he's trying to make his second read, that's when the pressure starts coming into him, and he had nowhere to go with that football. There's no way he was going to run away from that pressure, and to try and throw it with pressure in that is where things could get ugly with a fumble or an INT, but that was a coverage sack downfield by the Okanagan Sun defensive coverage team.
back to punt this one away are going to be the Prince George Kodiaks. We do have a timeout taken for the Sun. They obviously want to march the ball down the field. We'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Chase Johnston here, the Director of Marketing and Communications at the Okanagan Sun, your voice of the Okanagan Sun. Joined alongside me, riding shotgun, former coach Jason Casey. And the score right now is 25-0 in favor of the Sun. 42 seconds remain here in the first half. And back to punt here is Kay Mitchell. Back to receive, guess who? Mike O'Shea. O'Shea looking for a little bit of room. He's down the right side. He's got a whole line of orange jerseys. Mike O'Shea, and they're going to
Oh, he stepped out at the 45.
Stepped out at the 45. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown, Jason. What did you see there?
I guess Mike needs to get skinnier shoes. I don't know. I thought he said it again. Like when we look at this, there's nothing but orange jerseys, and he uses the sidelines again as another blocker. He's got his teammates to the left. He's got the sidelines to the right. He's just being patient, setting up blocks, and just his left foot as he was running downfield. So great call by the referee to do catch it. But I know when O'Shea sees that replay, he's going to kick himself because that was his inside foot that stepped out of bounds, and there's no need for his foot to be near there. So that's too bad.
Shades of Devin Hester, shades of Dante Hall.
Devin Hester, nice. Isaac Metcalf to go even older.
First down at 10 for the 43-yard line. Kruger, short dump to O'Shea, and O'Shea's going to go to the other side of the field now. Mike O'Shea down the left side, he'll run it out of bounds. Past the 30-yard line, it's going to be a Sun first down here with 19 seconds remaining in the first half.
And that's a great play to put in the hands of a young man like that who sets up his block so well and can see the field so well. It's almost, the way he runs when he's got the ball in his hands, waiting for blocks to happen and waiting to see what defenders do, is like the game slows down for him. He's just so smart when he's looking downfield, deciding, am I going left, am I going right, do I have to put on the brakes, do I have to put on the jet? So a play like that, when you get that jet sweep or that jet screen with the receiver coming across the formation, that's a great play for someone like O'Shea.
Colton Peterson is in at receiver, and look out, wide open. Guess who? It's Colton Peterson. Touchdown, Sun.
Beauty fake by Kruger. When we see this replay, you see he really looks like he's committing that with his shoulders. You think his lead hand is going to come off and he's going to throw? Nope. Wide open. The corner really jumped on that slow, that short slot, and you can tell by his body language he knows it was a bad read by him. But the corners have to be a little disciplined in that scenario. When you're in a zone coverage like that, you've got short guys. You've got a will linebacker and a weak side halfback that can take care of those flats. That you don't need to make that your priority. You need to stick on that deep threat. And yeah, the Okanagan Sun are so good at stretching those seams. You've got to respect it every time, whether you think the ball's coming to you or not.
How good does it feel as a receiver? You get inserted into the game. You catch the touchdown for Colton Peterson to score 32-0 in favor of the Sun. 13 seconds ago, we're going to take a break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. Chase Johnston here, Director of Marketing and Communications at the Sun. Joined alongside me, former coach Jason Casey, riding shotgun with me. Reunited, and it feels so good. Isaac Wagner back to kick this one away. Not a lot of time for the Kodiaks to work with. Only 13 total seconds remaining here in the first half. It's been a great first half for the Sun offense, but an even better first half for the Sun defense, not allowing a single point. Kick is away through the hands of Noah Lank, and Lank will need to get some extra blockers, and he has nothing here. 6 seconds to go. More than likely see the Kodiaks just take a knee, head to the locker room, reassess the situation. But, you know, I think a lot of fans, and maybe Vegas had odds in this game, they were projecting even worse if a quarterback like Dom Britton was in the game.
True, fair point. That said, it's not like the offense got pared back. No one else in the offense, they're not sitting like 8 of their starters or anything like that. So it still is the #1 Okanagan Sun offense that's on the field. It's just their #2 quarterback. And really, there shouldn't be anything missing when you get into a situation like that. So yeah, no, it's great to see all 3 facets of the game are clicking really, really well. Offense, defense, and special teams for a home team like the Okanagan Sun. That's fantastic to see.
And this is next year's starting quarterback for the Okanagan Sun, and Liam Kruger. I mean, this is not a rookie quarterback. He knows this offense very well. He was with the team last season. And a knee taken, that should do it here for the first half. We'll wait until the next play here, and they run the clock. And players just getting set here. And that's going to do it. The Okanagan Sun head into the locker room with a 32-0 lead over the Prince George Kodiaks. We are going to take a 5 or 6 minute break, and then we will have an interview with Prince George native and defensive back of the Okanagan Sun, Garrett Cape. He's going to talk about how special it is for Prince George to have a CJFL team and what he hoped to get in the pregame before the opening kickoff. You're listening and you're watching to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150.
Canadian Olympian. He won silver in 2020, and he just recently got the gold medal in the men's 4x100 meter relay with that team. Please congratulate Jerome Blair and welcome him here. Right, explain what we got going on here at midfield. We've got 2 teams of 7. They're going to do a relay race. They're going to put on some football gear, grab a football, run to the end, through the cones, make their way back, pass the ball off, change their equipment. First team to go through is the winner.
I'm not sure if Henry does use events at halftime or not. Yeah, but you know, okay, that guy's back down there. The wide camera guy just seems to his left. Oh yeah, he's sitting on his. The first night I was here, they had a Christmas ball. Oh, they were firing it from way down there and landing down here. They were trying to, like, first it was there, then right, they got it. First it was there, then it was center, then it was way the hell down here. And they were throwing it that far. Nobody got it in.
All right, it looks like we're ready. I'll count you down on 3. 3, 2, 1, go! Turn around, let's make some noise and go.
Yeah, sure, you're setting me up here. It's a good thing he's a big guy. Are you no? Yeah, because I know.
They're doing a great job. They're going a lot faster than I thought.
I know he's got frisbee players, on YouTube. Like, there was on YouTube from the frisbee tossing. I don't know who did it. Right? Doesn't matter, not much following.
Looks like the team on the far side has a little bit of a lead.
The black guy
Side of the field, you're cheering for this side. Anyone in the grays? This side. You make a noise for your team. Cheer on.
You know what? I'm just gonna stay on the board and you know?
While the race continues, just want to remind everyone, you have until the third quarter to go over to the tent, fill out a ballot for our final pair of passes to Denham on the diamond. We got our only girl in the race making her way through. Let's make some noise, get loud! Come on, this side of the field, 3 more. They're in the lead. It's neck and neck right now. Only 2 for both sides. The side closest to the bleachers. One more racer left. Down to our last racer on the Apple Bowl side. Make some noise for the last racers. All right, on the winning side. Make some noise for our last racer going through. And make some noise for all of our participants in the relay race.
Statistics in that opening quarter of play, or opening half of play, Okanagan Sun rushing 49 yards, Prince George with 22 yards rushing. Yards receiving, the Okanagan Sun 136, and Prince George is 68. Quarterback, the Okanagan Sun, Liam Kroger was 9-12 for 136 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. For Prince George, Liam Boskowski was 6 of 9 for 59 yards, and Keegan Henderson was 1 of 6 for 9 yards. The Sun had 11 first downs, Prince George 6. Penalties, the Sun 7 for 70 yards, Prince George 9 for 78.
return for the Okanagan Sun. Now here. Takes the handoff. And he throws towards the end zone and he's caught.
Welcome back. Those of you listening inside your cars. My name is Chase Johnston. We are watching and, of course, listening to JDS, Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Jason Casey riding shotgun at me. The score 32-0. We're just about ready to kick this ball away. Isaac Wagner will send it. The Kodiaks will start the second half with the football. And after a little bit of confusion here, we'll start things out. Wagner, and we'll see. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to come out at quarterback. You wonder if we see yet another.
I think I saw Oskowski with ice on his shoulder and not in gear right now. So I only see Henderson up by the sideline. So we'll see if that proves to be true or not. But it might be Henderson the rest of the game.
Another quarterback we can see is Avery Clayton. We saw a third stringer in late in the fourth quarter last week. Taking the ball back here are the Kodiaks, pushed out of bounds at their own 26-yard line. That's when you start things up here to open quarter number 3. Stats after the first half there, Jason Casey.
Yeah, so I was kind of amazed at how little offense, net offense, the Sun had. They only had 185 yards of offense, but I guess the plus to that low number, you think, oh, 32-0, they're probably going to have 275, 300 yards in offense, but they only had 185 yards, and that's because their defense and special teams are dominating the field positions, and they've had a short field all afternoon. So, but I am impressed with what Kroger's done. He was 9 for 12 for 136 yards and a touchdown and an interception. So great first half coming off the bench for this game.
Shotgun for Keegan Henderson. Henderson is going to throw a dart, caught. And it was a beautiful grab there from the return man, now receiver Marquise Banks, and very good hand for the Prince George Kodiak receiver.
Yeah, again, it's coming a little hot, so Beauty Reed, it's just a little high. That said, I think Banks just needs to dip his shoulder and turn upfield. When you're in between zones like that, you're not going to get, it's not like a punt return. You're not going to give up yardage to get around those defenders, so just put on the brakes as quick as you can, turn your shoulders upfield, and get as many positive north-south yards as you can. But great read by Henderson. I'm really liking how he's commanding the game.
First down and 10. And he's back in the shotgun. Henderson, players in motion. He'll take the snap. Can his offensive line hold? Look out. Quaz Bohan, he's got him right by the shoelaces, and the newcomer for the Okanagan Sun defensive line. I'll get credit for that sack.
Yeah, and you can see another coverage sack. When we show the wide picture of just waiting for the play, like after the play was whistled dead, there was orange jerseys around all the defenders. There was no separation. There was no one wide open that Henderson missed. He tried to make his progression. He went to his first read, covered, and as he started looking at trying to progress to number 2 and number 3 reads, the pressure was already there, and he's just pretty much dead to right. So you got to get that first or second read. You got to zing it. That's why I like the first play of this series. It was just a quick hitter right up the gut.
And second down and very long here. They're going to try and go for a screen, and wow. Tyler Going just drilled the intended target, Keanu Brown. Open field tackle, and there is a flag on the play. We'll see who it's on.
Yeah, they're trying to set up a screen, but he's getting pressure even on the screen. Normally on a screen, you're really hard backpedaling away from the defense, trying to lure them towards you to give you time to dump it over their head. Ah, that's unfortunate.
So roughing the passer, that's going to really benefit the Kodiaks here.
Yeah, because it shows the experience and expertise and knowledge of going. He knew that was a screen. He came down and he timed that hit perfectly as the ball got there to either jar the ball loose or not even give the receiver a chance to connect with the ball, and that was just a perfectly timed impact by going.
First down and 10 now for the Kodiaks. Keegan Henderson, a little bit of sun shining down on the field now. And a short gain is so difficult here to get anything through this defensive line of the Sun. Little pushing and shoving there between Romario Reed and the big left tackle, Will St. Hubert.
Yeah, so the Kodiaks are trying to establish some kind of, it's almost like a search with kind of a counter, the way the receiver's coming across the quarterback's body to take that handoff, and then just searching out where these seams are. That's a tough offense to try and get going against a quality front like the Okanagan Sun. I think they should really either try and do smash mouth where you get big on big to get the second level or get outside the tackle boxes.
Second down and 8, and that is offside by a mile. And it won't matter as the Sun sack the quarterback. Coming in hot there was Peyton Ryder. And getting some extra support was Aiden Hennessy and Peyton Ryder.
Yeah, you can see on this replay, there's just no cover, like there's no one open. On the wide side of the field, at the top of the field by the first down marker, there was a receiver. Now, we couldn't see it, but likely that deep third coverage was behind him. There's no way that Henderson's gonna have enough time to throw that deep wide side of the field out. That said, the coverage is too good downfield right now. When they're trying to set up this pass, the run game is sporadic at best, and their pass game needs to be these like 3, 5, 7 yard quick hitters. Henderson's got a good arm, he's pretty accurate. Get the hands in the ball in the hands of the receiver. 5, 7 yards downfield, maybe he makes a guy miss, maybe he's able to get a couple of yards after contact, then you're getting a second and short, then you're getting a first down. So that's really how I think the Kodiaks need to start attacking the Okanagan Sun defense.
Penalty was obviously declined, so the Kodiaks will punt this ball away. Kay Mitchell back at his own 25-yard line. And it's not going to be the longest punt in the world. We'll go out of bounds towards the 50 of the Sun. We'll see where the officials spot it. But it's going to be favorable field position here for the Okanagan Sun.
Not horrible, 25-yard kick. Yeah, you don't want to see that, but it's a 25-yard net kick, and Mike O'Shea doesn't get to touch the ball. So that's pretty not a bad idea by the Huskies kicking team right now. You're not gaining a lot of yards, but you know Mike O'Shea is not going to turn it into a 30, 40, 50-yard return or 6 points.
Pistol formation here for the Sun. And handing a ball off to Aiden Weiberg, who's got a touchdown here today. Solid gain of about 7 yards. It's going to be second and short here for Liam Kruger.
Yeah, I've said it before. I just love how Weiberg's such a strong north-south runner. He gets into that. He sees that seam as almost like kind of an off-tackle gap between the guard and tackle, hits that like a bat out of hell, gets into that second level, and easily stumbles in for a 7-8 yard gain.
Another pistol formation, another run. Weiberg's got a wide open hole. Aiden Weiberg muscles his way into PG territory, way inside the 33.
There is a flag. I'm wondering if they're going to call holding on the receiver, the way it is downfield and on the right-hand side, or maybe a block in the back as the defender was coming in. I couldn't quite see where that flag was coming from. Oh, okay. So after yards gain, you still get the first down that Weiberg just gained, and then wherever that play ended, it's going to be 10 yards back from there is where now the Sun will get their next 1st and 10. So it hurts the gain, but it doesn't affect their first down and yardage.
So it's first down here and 10, but it's only at the 52-yard line, not the 33 of the Kodiaks. Short dump to Noah Bymack, and Bymack, I should mention to you, Noah Bymack took a bit of a spill there. Not sure if it was on the Colton Peterson touchdown or the Aiden Weiberg touchdown, but he was down during a commercial break. And not the usual Noah Bymack that we've seen so far this season.
No, I think he was looking ahead, though. I think he was looking at what he was going to do upfield, read the block, and try and make that first defender miss before he secured the ball. So as that ball kind of got into his mitts, he was ready to turn upfield, and he didn't have it secured, and that's just why it spit out so easy.
2nd down and 10 here. Play action pass up the middle for Colby Mileto. Staying with him. Great defensive play by Marcellus Pope.
Yeah, Pope's had some moments today as a defender. Good job. He was right in the hip pocket of Mileto and just delivered a great lick. Going over the middle like that, that's dangerous. You got to get that ball nice and low and right in the breadbasket of the receiver so he doesn't have to extend himself and open himself up. But beautiful defense. And now we get a punt situation by the Okanagan Sun. This is a small victory for the Kodiaks right now.
Isaac Wagner getting set here to punt this one. We've yet to see one of Isaac Wagner's 40-plus yard punts. We've seen a couple of them in weeks number 4 and 5. Will we see one right here? As the wind has died down, things are drying up a bit here at the Apple Bowl. Wagner anticipates the snap. Now he'll punt this one, and it's just another line drive, not the punt that he's not what he's looking for. As it's accepted here by the Kodiaks, they'll run out of bounds at their own 15-yard line, and the offense will come out. And for you, Jason Casey, you've obviously missed the last couple weeks, but Isaac Wagner has just had some boomers that have gone right towards the end zone. Hasn't forced any rouges quite yet this season, but just some awe-inspiring punts this year.
Yeah, and he's got a long, powerful, lanky body, right? So when he gets those long, powerful legs on that ball and connects it just right, and it's a nice tight spiral, you get those 4-second hang times. You get the 40, 50 yard punts downfield, and that's great to see from a punter because then your head coach knows that regardless of the situation with your offense, we can regain the field position.
Shotgun here for the Kodiaks. Keegan Henderson, they're going to run the ball here, looking for a little bit of room. Barely any, if anything, maybe a yard. And it'll be 2nd down and 9. The running back on the play there with the carry. I believe that was Turner Jean-Baptiste. Or no, it wasn't. It was going to be Noah Schneider.
Yeah, that's tough for the Kodiaks when you're coming across. So he was lined up on the strong side of the quarterback, the running back Schneider, coming across to the weak side, taking that handoff, and the defense can see that developing. So they're not getting caught out of place. So the speed and pursuit of the Okanagan Sun defense, it's easy for them to come up and make that tackle, and you get a no gain or a 1-yard gain. They really need to stretch the sidelines more for the Kodiaks if they're going to get any positive yardage.
2nd down and 9. Quarterback takes a hit. Oh, what a catch. Climbing the ladder was Marquise Banks again as the QB took a shot.
Yeah, and it was a busy section where he was throwing into. I think a couple people weren't sure where the ball was going, but kudos for, who was that, Banks, to go up and climb the ladder to get that. Yeah, that was a beautiful catch. But yeah, Henderson is a tough kid because he's in maybe the one full quarter and a bit that he's played in this game. He's already taken a handful of big licks.
We'll see what the Kodiaks do now. Maybe a little bit more of a balanced attack now. They can get the ball going here on the running game. Keegan Henderson under center now. We've rarely seen this season out of any team. Now they're going to hand it off again to Schneider. No gain on the play. Coming in hot was Peyton Ryder.
Yeah, Peyton Ryder and Aiden Hennessy. Again, it's deceiving when you're trying to plan an attack on the front 7 of the Okanagan Sun. I think, okay, we can do some big on big. Maybe we throw a trap or a counter and throw a fullback in there to try and get enough of a seam to get to the 2nd level. But the front 7 for the Okanagan Sun are so quick and so athletic, they just dominate that line of scrimmage, and they almost dictate to you how you're going to block your own offensive scheme.
2nd down and 11 here from the 25. There is a false start here. We're going to see. We have fingers pointed, but I believe it's on.
I think it was
Kodiak.
Reed.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Reed getting anxious coming off the end there on a blitz. 16 for the Sun. Sorry.
No worries. We should let you know, for those of you in your cars, 7:27 remaining here in quarter number 3. 32-0 is the score. A bit of a slow start here to the second half. And we should let you know, I mean, the story of this game, just a little bit of a recap. Dominic Britton, star quarterback, potential MVP of the league, out of the game. He's fully dressed. He looks like he can play. He doesn't appear to be hurt. But you better believe Travis Miller's taking this opportunity for Liam Kruger to get snaps in. They are playing an expansion team in the Prince George Kodiaks. They do have a bye week next week, and almost seems like he wants to rest his quarterback for a couple weeks before their big matchup in Victoria 2 weeks from now.
Absolutely, and it's a great opportunity not only to rest your number 1 guy, and he's obviously suited up if he's needed, but yeah, give your number 2 proper full 4-quarter game reps.
Second down and long. Henderson needs to take a shot. He's got a receiver over the head of the intended target, Evan Ingram. And the punt unit will come out for the Prince George Kodiaks.
Yeah, I don't know if Henderson's trying to look off the safety or not, because his body language and he was reading like he wanted to go downtown on that. So I don't know if one of the receivers stopped their pattern or not. Obviously, I don't know the offensive playbook of the Kodiaks, but it looked like he was like, oh, there's no one there, and I've got the blocking time. I'm in my pocket. I've got time to throw downtown, and no one's there. But as he checked down, he throws into coverage. He's not afraid to throw into coverage. He'll throw over the defender, put it in a spot where only the receiver can go for it. So I like how Henderson picks his spots and still tries to thread the needle.
Good looking punt, just avoiding the block. Goes back to Nathan Tonagai in to return this punt, and he's immediately bottled up at the 48-yard line of the Prince George Kodiak. So the Sun offense will start things out here in favorable field position. It appears to me that most of the starting offense is still on to start this series here in the third quarter, and Liam Kruger is back, or pardon me, remains in at quarterback.
Yeah, there's no need for the Sun to make any major substitutions just yet. They still got to treat it like a regular game regardless of the score. You need to see your number 1s get deep into a third quarter, even in a blowout, because they need to maintain that full 4-quarter conditioning and strength for the season.
Play action pass up the middle. It's caught. Nathan Tonagai, his first reception of the afternoon, and the Sun a big first down. They have it at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, you can see here that play action pass is great. You know that Weiberg is such a powerful runner, so when you play action pass to him, that's going to freeze up the linebackers, possibly even sometimes the play side halfbacks, and that's, as you can see, like the defense was just kind of caught, and that seam, that's a tough closing for the free safety when maybe he's also thinking about the run, and Kruger just saw that seam and thread the needle.
And they're going to go run up the middle here. Not much to work with, maybe a yard for the Okanagan Sun. It's going to be second down and 9.
Yeah, the Kodiaks are really keen on that run. It's almost like the Sun should say, okay, we're just going to run play action pass on your butts until you decide to start bailing out your linebackers. We either play action pass up the gut, and drop back, or play action pass with a bootleg coming off and then throwing one of his receivers on like a deep wide out.
Second down and 9. Kruger, play action pass. Kruger's going to take a shot to the end zone looking for O'Shea. Oh my goodness, he almost got it. As we see Liam Kruger maybe, not get enough mustard on the pass that time, a little too much.
Yeah, and because it was like the way the play developed, I think O'Shea thought he wasn't going to get much on it either. And almost like O'Shea stopped, I won't say stopped, but even geared down a little bit. The way that I think he was looking for the ball. Now that said, he did have a defender right around his leg, so that may have also hindered what he was trying to do running up that seam. But yeah, missed opportunity for the Sun. It was there. It was a good play call, good read by Kruger, and just a little bit overthrown for O'Shea.
So we will see Liam Atwood come out here for a field goal attempt.
And they just had to burn a timeout because they were one man down.
So the ball is spotted right now at the 26, so this is going to be roughly around a 30, we'll say a 33 to 34 yard field goal here for Liam Atwood. He's already made one from 37. He failed to make one from 40. He's 1 for 2 here. We'll see what he does. Atwood anticipating here. 5:10 to go here in the third quarter. From 34 yards out. And it's a bot snap. O'Shea is going to have to either throw or run it. O'Shea, he's going to run. Why not? Mike O'Shea dives his way forward, and that's going to be either close or just short of the first down. I believe
pretty
he's short.
close, but yeah, I think they're marking him probably about a half yard short. Another small little moral victory for the Kodiaks, not allowing any more points. But yeah, bad snap in the dirt like that. Yeah, so right away O'Shea's got to yell fire, fire, fire. And either he's got his wing backs and tight ends have specific pass routes that they run, or he just runs. Yeah, it didn't look like they were going to pass regardless, but oftentimes when you hear fire, fire, fire from your holder, you've got a couple of guys that have specific pass responsibilities, and the rest are just trying to block it like an offensive play.
So first down and 10 here for the Prince George Kodiaks, 4:55 and counting remaining in quarter number 3. 32-0 remains the score. And the Sun starting defense starting to shrink down a bit. We see Isaac Matidi is in at corner. Keegan Henderson's going to try and attack his area, and that one just out of the reach. We saw a couple Sun players collide there. And Peyton Ryder and Isaac Wagner, the two veterans, they both appear to be okay after getting up a little slower.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Henderson's not afraid to throw into coverage, and he's pretty accurate. That wasn't a horribly bad throw. I mean, yes, there was one black jersey and 4 orange jerseys, but it was right in the breadbasket. It's just too bad he couldn't hang on to it, that there's just top defenders around him stripping it down, but kudos to Henderson. He's taking licks in his pocket as he's trying to distribute the football to his receivers. His receivers know they're going to take licks. I think that was Erickson that almost grabbed it again, but the D is just so good in their coverage and their tackling.
And already the Sun defense converge on another football, and I think they just turned it over. The Kodiaks will fumble. It's recovered by Tyler Going, and Tyler Going is having himself a game. Tackles for losses, sacks, and now a recovered fumble.
Yeah, the Kodiaks are just starting to get beat up physically and obviously a little bit mentally, knowing that, you know, the wheels are starting to fall off. They've got, I've said it before, they've got moments of brilliance. There's some great play calling, some great execution. They just got to find that consistency, and that's easier said than done by far. You're on the road, #1 team in the CJFL. On offense, defense, and special teams, you're behind the 8 ball, and now to continue to give a short field to a high-powered offense, you know, 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Liam Kruger and Aiden Weiberger in. Kruger back to pass, looking for his 2nd touchdown pass of the game. He's going to throw a dart, and the intended target.
It's going to be holding by Hines.
And it's holding
the old lineman. You can see here right on this replay. Yeah, he's just grabbing kind of that shoulder pad. Yeah, it's instinctive because you don't want to allow the defensive tackle to get a lick on your quarterback like that. I don't think that he needed to, knowing the athleticism of his quarterback, but, you know, it's a split-second decision. You're trying to hand check that defender, and just unfortunately a holding call.
So it will be 1st down and 20 now. Why not back them up if you're the Prince George Kodiaks? 3:42 to go here in quarter number 3. 32-0 the score for the Okanagan Sun. Kruger is back in the pistol. Aiden Weiberg is the running back. A lot of different looking receivers in for the Sun here. Play action pass again. Kruger, he's sacked. What a play defensively for the Prince George Kodiaks. Coming in hot was Jason Craig.
That is just a great play by a defensive lineman. Coming in, beating the offensive tackle with a great play, and just knowing that he didn't allow Kruger to make him miss. He came in under control, knew that he wanted to make a tackle. Big, strong defensive end like that. As soon as he got him in his grasp, that's a huge defensive play by the Kodiaks, by Craig and company. Good coverage downfield. It forced Kruger to have to go into his 2nd and 3rd read, and that gave Craig time to beat his offensive tackle and get into that deep backfield.
2nd down and very long now. Kruger's going to throw it short to the wide right side to Blaise Beauchemin. It's caught, but nowhere near the 1st down. Maybe, just maybe enough breathing room for Liam Atwood to kick a field goal. Ball will be spotted at about the 26-yard line here.
Yeah, and good open field tackle by Donovan there, and keeping on the outside of Beauchemin as well, forcing him to the inside of his help, where Matheson comes in. That's a really, really good open field tackle by the corner Donovan and forcing the receiver to have to go inside to where he knew his defensive halfback was coming and help.
So this is really just the same field goal attempt here. It's about 34, 33 yards for Liam Atwood, and it's all based on the center here to see if he can get a good snap off. And this one is up. The kick is up. The kick is wide right. And so Keon Raymond Jr. will have an attempt here to bring this ball out. He's going to go for it. Why not? Nothing to lose here for the Prince George Kodiaks. He's now tackled inside his 10. We got multiple flags on the play.
Yeah, that was going to be a piling on. That was unnecessary. I don't know if he got hit in the back. I didn't see that. I just saw him coming into the pile afterwards. So maybe on a couple of replays we'll see if it's a legitimate penalty as they fly in here. But yeah, he's down. Let's see if I can get a number. I don't know if he thought the ball was out. Couldn't be going. It might have been number 20 going, doing something like that. But yeah, that's a stupid penalty. You could tell the returner was already down. The ball didn't look like it was moving at all. So it's not like he thought it was going to be a fumble. That's just an unnecessary, stupid penalty that the Sun just gave a free 15 yards to the Kodiaks.
Not what they wanted.
No, that's bad habits. When things are going this great, yeah, you can get away with it. There's no consequences to it because you're up 32-0. It's an opponent that is already way back on their heels the majority of this game. But when you make mistakes like this, they can linger for many games as the season goes on. And when you get into an opponent like with the Rebels when you're fighting for first, or you get into a playoff game, or if you're not lucky enough, but fortunate enough to start playing Ontario or the Prairies, that is going to cost you a W.
And it's just little plays like this, you know, that you're not thinking straight. You're up 32-0. This is kind of the problem about, you know, being a near perfect team, being a #1 team in the country, is that you start to develop these habits.
Well, that's just it. I can understand that it's a close game and it's a well-matched opponent and you want to make a play. I can understand the passion and the desire as a football player to always want to make big plays, but this was unnecessary. There was no reason to try and do anything like this in this scenario. Unfortunate, really, yeah. Oh, so it's 2 penalties. I didn't see that. Oh.
Evan Patrick from the Prince George Kodiaks has been ejected from the football game.
So I was all worried about the silly mistake the Sun did, and then the Kodiaks did 2 stupid penalties on that same play, and one of them cost one of their players for the rest of the game. Oh, and we're going to get a bench penalty. One of the coaches was giving it to the ref, and yeah.
And I'm not sure who that is on Prince George Kodiak's side. He's hot, and he'll be going off.
Yeah, there's still a lot of ball game to play left for the Kodiaks and the coaching staff. They got to compose themselves, get back. Like, yeah, this is unfortunate. They're going to be way back in their own, you know, they're at their own 1.5 yard line. This is another tough situation. It's the second time this afternoon they've been in this situation for field position, but when you start getting these emotions and mental mistakes happening, things can go from bad, which things already are in this game for the most part for the Kodiaks, to really, really much worse, and that's not something they want to do. And you can see that Coach Raymond's talking with the refs like, hey, help us out here. They're doing stupid stuff too. Our guys are just trying to survive this game. You know, our guys are trying to do the best they can when they see their number 2s come into the game. And yeah, so that's certainly what Coach Raymond is having with the discussion with the head referee, and just like, hey, help us out here. We don't want this game to get any uglier than it needs to. It's one thing based on talent and play calling of how you're going to, you know, a team like the Okanagan Sun is going to dominate you, but you don't want to see it where it starts becoming where the referees are getting involved. Now, obviously, all 3 of these penalties were justified. There was a face mask and then a disqualification and then a piling on by the Okanagan Sun, but it's also the referee's job to try and curb that kind of situation when it comes to a game like this that's so drastically lopsided.
So here we are. The Prince George Kodiaks are spotted at their own 1-yard line. It's
For the
first down
second
two.
time.
This is tough sledding here for Keegan Henderson. He's going to throw the ball here. It's batted away. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 for their own 1. And you might as well just try something unique here, because the worst case scenario, you can just take a knee and surrender 2 points.
Yeah, I'm always worried when I see offenses that, so they're on the right hash mark, so the uprights are to the left of the quarterback. And as Henderson dropped, he was looking left. And so often you see a quarterback will hit the crossbar or an upright because that's his passing lane. Why not throw straight up the middle, which would be the right hash mark, or a quick hitter to the short sidelines and not risk hitting the uprights?
And there he is. Keegan Henderson again going deep. Why not? And it's incomplete, way out of the reach. So the punt unit will come on. More than likely will concede a safety here, of course.
Yeah, that was just good coverage by Isaac Matidi there. He was in the hip pocket of the receiver the whole way. It was overthrown to try and throw the receiver open, allow him to run under the ball, but it's few and far between you're going to get a completion like that against the corners of the Okanagan Sun.
So we'll see what they end up doing here. Ball spotted at the 1-yard line. Punt unit is out. They don't look like they're going to be trying anything fancy here. More than likely, they will take a knee, and that's exactly what they end up doing.
Give up the safety, try and get the field back. Yep.
And with 1:04 to go here in the 3rd quarter, the score is now 34-0. Both defenses playing solid football here to start the 2nd half.
Absolutely.
What we'll do right now is take a 60-second break. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last call for alcohol we're going to be shutting down in the end of this quarter.
Welcome back to the Apple Bowl. The Okanagan Sun received the kick and have fumbled as Nathan Tonagai appeared to get a hole, and the Prince George Kodiaks, they need a break, and they got one, Jason Casey.
This is so uncommon to see, but yeah, like when we see on this replay, it was just the way that he was cutting, and as he tried to sidestep the receiver, he brought his arm up, so then the ball was exposed below, and he just got hit from the top, ball popped out. Player was there. I think it was Pope was in the right place at the right time. And I was going to say, too, like when you see a big return like this, so Tonagai has taken the return, and Michael Shea's still back there. But even though Michael Shea's a great returner, he gets into the mix of blocking as well. So all around, the 12 guys that are always on the field for special teams with the Okanagan Sun know their role, and they do it well.
And now Keegan Henderson's going to take a shot here. Tight coverage, and that's just tough to make if you're Jerome Erickson.
Yeah, it's really tough. Henderson is doing a good job of making his reads, but because the linebacking core for the Okanagan Sun are so good and disciplined in their zone, they're making him have to throw over their head. And that's why we're seeing a lot of his footballs as he's going into that 2nd, 3rd level are high on the receivers, because he can't shoot a laser through there because the linebacking core will knock it down or get a pick. So Henderson's in a tough position trying to thread that needle. He's making great reads. It's just the defense is making it really tough to get the completions.
2nd down and 10 from the Sun 45, flag on the play, and it's caught and dropped immediately. Great play there from the defensive back, Andres Guzman. And I think this play, I want to say it's going to be a decline penalty. As you can see, interim defensive coordinator Curtis Urlacher, linebacker coach, filling in for the suspended Eli Haynes.
And yeah, and the Sun are doing such a good job. Again, it was Statham, the defensive lineman for the Okanagan Sun, that got right in the grill as Henderson as he was trying to throw. And again, that was a high ball. If Statham was a half step or a step later than that, and Henderson had time to throw and follow through on his throwing motion, that would have been right in the numbers, and that would have been a completed pass. But unfortunately for the Kodiaks, and kudos to the defensive front for the Sun, they're getting in his face and they're forcing those high throws.
Kodiaks back under center, third down. They're going for it here. Why not? Keegan Henderson. He is dropped. Nowhere to go. And it was the veteran, Jeremy Elonge.
The coverage is just too good. It's just it's textbook blanket coverage downfield by the Okanagan Sun right now. The defensive backs, so the safety, the halfbacks, the corners, and the linebackers are just disgustingly good this afternoon. There's nowhere to go for Henderson, and when you're trying to make something happen for your team and you're going for it on third down and your quarterback has to eat the ball, that's just another coverage sack this afternoon.
The Sun defense, you know, if you thought last week was a statement, allowing 1 point, today probably the biggest statement of the season. They've been turning the ball over. Their coverage has been so tight. The defensive line's been getting to the quarterback. Everything's working so far.
What they've been doing to win the field today is just top-notch. It's second to none. They're doing a fantastic job. The front four, the linebacking core, the halfbacks, corners and safety, whether it's a pass play or a run play, has been on point. And when they force the team to punt, their punt return team is like, hey, we got it from here, slap her into fifth gear, and we'll either put points on the board or give our offense a crazy short field to work with.
So the fourth quarter now starting. First down and 10 for the Sun from their own 50-yard line. Liam Kruger is still in at quarterback. Pistol formation, he's going to run it. Aiden Weiberg, here comes the West Kelowna native, looking for an edge. He's got one, and that is a first down for the Sun as he gets pushed out of bounds right
That
towards
is awesome. The kid switches arms, which is he should do. Obviously, we have a strong arm, so he's maybe a right-handed running back. You can see it's in his right hand. The pressure's coming. I'm going to switch to my left straight arm. Goes for a second straight arm. Just couldn't get it out in time. But for a young running back, that is a veteran run that he just pulled off.
We're slowly but surely starting to see the second-team offense form as Mike O'Shea's day is over. Starting center, Matthew Kling's day is over. A couple others as Kroger is going to take a shot deep. Looking for Marcus Burden, the receiver, and he overshot him. And it's going to be second down and long coming up.
Yeah, just a bit of a misread by Kroger there. Who was that at receiver? Was that
Marcus Burton?
Oh, Burton. So yeah, Burton went to the inside of that corner on that hitch and go as opposed to the outside. Kruger threw it to the outside towards the sidelines, so whether that was a misread by Kruger and he expected Burton to be out that side or just didn't realize that he was coming on the inside of the number, so just a little miscommunication between Kruger and his receiver.
Pistol formation again here for second down and 10. Kruger, he's got time. Now he escapes the pocket. He's going to run with the ball here. Right towards his man, gets tackled hard at the 40. He's going to be short of the first down. Third down coming up.
Big lick, he's winded.
Kruger, is that the signal for being winded?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I got winded.
That is a hard hit.
Yeah, that was a big hit. Good job on, I think that might have been Matheson again. Was it number 12? I didn't quite see both numbers on him, but, oh no, no. Yeah, I think that's Matheson, that halfback. He's a tenacious halfback, so yeah, that's a big lick. Oh, it wasn't. I think that was Raymond.
Tom Britton, starting quarterback, just checking on his other quarterback. And, you know, if you're Travis Miller, maybe it might be time to put Avery Clayton in at quarterback after that hit.
Yeah, that was a big lick for sure, yeah.
So, punt team out here with the ball spotted at their own 41. They're not going to attempt a 48-yarder here for Liam Atwood. Wagner. That's the booming kicks we've been talking about. Keon Raymond forced back into his own end zone. He's going to try to return this ball. He's looking for an edge. Garrett Cape staying with him. Devin Boo staying with him. Raymond now slows down. Raymond tackled. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a single point for the Okanagan Sun. It's now 35-0 with 12:57 to go in the football game.
Yeah, and that just shows disciplined coverage by the Okanagan Sun. So those that are watching on BC FC TV can see as the returner, and I'll try to describe it for the radio, when their returner's running east-west, he's going sideline to sideline, it hasn't turned upfield yet, a lot of young football players will just want to start running towards that returner and closing that field, but that creates seams in your coverage. The Okanagan Sun, they just ran east-west with that returner until he turns his shoulders up the field. When you see top of helmet and top of shoulder pads, then it's time for you to converge, and that's exactly what that coverage, the contained coverage on the wide side of the field, the Okanagan Sun did. They were patient, they waited till he committed upfield, and then they just swarmed on.
Back in it are the Kodiaks here. Henderson again going to throw the ball. That one caught, and just barely caught by the receiver, Matthew Raya K. Mitchell, and pretty good hands there.
Yeah, good spot. It was a good read, a little behind him, but again, he had his own running back was kind of in his throwing lane. That pocket's really condensing around Henderson, but it's not phasing him. This kid has taken licks, and he doesn't have much room to work with, but he delivered a great football. If it was a little more in front of the receiver, he might have been able to make an attempt at some yards after catch, but way for him to stay with that ball, collect it, and almost move the chains.
2nd down and 1 here. More than likely see a short run play, and muscling his way forward for the 1st down here. Finally tackled down. Good job by the offensive linemen of the Kodiaks to stay with their running back, try and get that extra couple of yards. And we've seen a lot of resiliency from some of these opponents from the Okanagan Sun over the last couple of weeks, and the game's clearly out of reach. You keep pounding, keep gunning along.
Absolutely. Like a situation like this, it was 2nd and short, and you could tell sometimes by the body language and how an offensive line is getting off the ball when you're down like this, and you know the game is out of reach, but on this short yardage, they got the 1st down. They still came off their toes, head down, and powered up into the defensive line. So kudos to the Kodiaks for their mental resolve, for sure.
And we have a flag here on 1st down and 10, more than likely offside here. We'll wait and see what the call is from the official. 10:59 to go here in quarter number 4, 35-0 the score.
Yeah, I was watching the interior, so I didn't see if maybe the Okanagan Sun were lined up or maybe one of the receivers were offside going on. So yeah, I didn't quite see that, but again, it's just unfortunate the receivers aren't getting an opportunity to make plays because the ball's just coming up a little high. Henderson's just, I know he's feeling that pressure, and he's trying to get his read in as quick as he can, and those balls just keep coming high for Erickson and company. Yeah, so it is against the defense. Oh.
All right, so they're going to repeat 1st down. It's going to be 5 yards after 2 fouls, 1 for each team. We'll give you an update here on the out-of-town scoreboard. The West Shore Rebels have a 22-7 lead over the Kamloops Broncos. Remember, that's the Suns' next game in West Shore. That is a must-win game for the West Shore Rebels. If the Sun win that game, pretty much 1st place is theirs, even with a couple of other opponents throughout the year. 1st down and 15 here for the Kodiaks, and it appeared to me like Keegan Henderson escaped the sack from Romario Reed, but they blew the whistle, so it's going to be...
I think they blew the whistle. He got through there so deep, but that's who they called the penalty on, was Reed. So what better way to, make up for a penalty called against you is to, okay, I'll just do a speed rush, beat my offensive guard, and get in there for a sack.
Elsewhere in the BCFC, our TELUS game of the week is over in Langley. The Vancouver Island Raiders trailing 14-0 to the Langley Rams. Langley Rams trying to figure things out after what has been a disastrous start to their season. And we'll keep our eyes peeled. Remember, the Rams also have one more trip to the Apple Bowl to take on the Sun September 24th. That is the Burn Fund game. Tickets available for that game online. Keegan Henderson, he's going to take another shot to K. Mitchell, and just out of his reach, he was tied up there with Isaac Matiti.
Yeah, it's just the way that ball was coming down, it was on the inside of the receiver, and he just didn't have time. A little bit of head checking, but nothing that was impeding the receiver trying to make a play on that. It was just a little too far inside for him to make a play.
see 3rd down and 23. Punt unit out there is the intended receiver, Kay Mitchell, is going to be out to punt this one away. Back to receive here for the punt is going to be Noah Bymack. Just avoiding the block from Isaac Wagner or the Kodiaks, and the ball's just going to bounce out of bounds. Noah Bymack wanted the opportunity to return, but he's not going to get it. So the offense will step back out on the field. 9:34 to go here in quarter number 4. I know it shows 9:32 on the clock on your screen if you're watching on BCFC TV. Want to thank those of you from the Prince George region for tuning in, of course, coast to coast. All the families of the players that don't get to see your son all summer long. A lot of out-of-town families, Rally Immense family from Saskatchewan making the drive in to watch their son play. Not a bad place to be stuck in the summertime here in sunny Kelowna.
Absolutely.
And Avery Clayton is in at quarterback, and running the ball there is Tristan Peddle for a short gain.
Yeah, obviously we're going to start seeing some substitutions like this, start getting in to see the 2nd and 3rd string players on both offense and defense. You obviously keep some of your key, especially in the O-line, you keep some of them so you can keep the momentum and integrity of the offense moving for a young quarterback. You don't want to just throw Clayton in with a whole laundry list of substitutions, so you want to give him an opportunity to work the system with some number 1s as well and some number 2s. So let's see what he can do in the rest of this 4th quarter.
And ball goes right over to the intended receiver, who got absolutely blindsided. That was a dangerous looking hit there Connor Bjorgen just took.
Yeah, obviously the ball got away from Clayton there. It was high and started drifting towards the defense, and something like that, I mean, you're putting the receiver in a dangerous situation as well as a possibility of getting it pick 6. So that's a tough throw for Clayton to have to try and throw.
So punt unit back out on the field. Temperature dropping a bit here in Kelowna. It's getting a little chilly.
Yeah, the evenings have been very, very cool. Once the sun starts going behind the mountains, the temperature drops pretty quick.
And I know we're at August 27th right now, but it almost feels like a late September game, if anything. So it almost seemed like purposely taking a full start penalty there was Tyler Going. Not sure what happened there.
Looks like they only have 10 or 11 guys. They don't even anywhere near 12.
Peyton Ryder's going to run out in the field now.
Yeah, I only count 10, so they were down 2. So that's a very smart penalty to take.
And leave it to Tyler Going to kind of manage that very well.
Yeah. And they still only had 11. 2 came on, but I think that was... Ryder didn't know that he should have stayed on as well. He saw 10 guys come out thinking, oh, maybe we got too many, but yeah. Now we got 12.
Wagner back to punt this one away. And that's a nice looking punt there from the veteran Wagner. Accepted by Erickson. Erickson looking for an edge. He'll get tackled.
Oh, that's unnecessary.
And Grayson Statham takes down Erickson. Erickson appears to be hurt there. And are we going to see a flag? It doesn't look like we're...
Of all the penalties I usually question when they throw one, I thought that was a no-brainer. Like, they were well onto the rubber mats where he still threw them. Like, that's just, you know you're out of bounds. Like, right there, you let go. Like, ugh. Yeah, normally you see that without hesitation thrown as an unnecessary reference.
I'm shocked to see that.
The Sun got away with one there.
I cannot believe that wasn't a flag.
Yeah.
So 7:52 to go here in the 4th quarter. 35-0 to score. Sun defense back out on the field. We'll see if the Kodiaks can get something going here. Right now, this game, the theme, great defense from the Okanagan Sun. This defensive line hasn't given any time here for Keegan Henderson, the backup quarterback. Both starting quarterbacks are out of the game right now, as Henderson's going to throw that one wide. It's caught. Beautiful catch made by Jared Annis, and it appears to be a gain of about 9 yards. Not quite enough for a first down. It's going to be second and short.
Beauty catch and run. That's a tough throw. You can see Keegan stepped all the way through. He had full follow through. That's a difference how accurate he is when he doesn't have someone in his face. And that's a long, wide throw, and he threw it in front of a receiver running away from him, and in a spot only he could catch it. There was no threat of an interception or a knockdown. That was a really impressive catch and throw by Henderson and his receiver. Who was that? That was Annis, yeah. Impressive.
Second down and 1. Keegan Henderson again. He's going to escape the pocket. Henderson, he's going to take a deep shot here, and roughed up there was the intended receiver, but Isaac Matidi stayed with him. There was a little bit of contact there. What did you see, Jason?
Yeah, no, I think it's just two guys going after the ball. Again, he made his first, second read, had to scramble, and he's not afraid to throw into coverage. That is really, really good coverage. Put in a spot where he knew his receiver could still make a play on it, not where the receiver could trip and it's an easy pick. He put it right at the sidelines and said to the receiver, try and make a play. If not, it's just going to be incomplete. But as for the contact, I think it's just two guys going for the ball in the same amount of real estate, and that's just good defense and offensive playing right there.
Henderson had time to run that ball, and now it's third down, and they're going to go for it. Henderson, short dump, caught by Annis, and he'll have enough for the first down as he's tackled at the 40.
Good play call. They knew they had that in their back pocket. Obviously, if they didn't, when you're going downtown on a second and short like that, you pretty much know you're going for it on third, and you have a play call in your back pocket knowing that, okay, this is the one we're going to go to. We know it works. This is your kind of your gravy play in that situation, and they executed it.
Henderson again. As they go with a quick snap, gain of 5 again, Annis, and he's starting to really target that receiver, and whoa! A little bit of interesting move there from the offensive lineman, Will St. Hubert on Romario Reed. Now Romario Reed, who does a very good job at getting under players' skin.
Yeah, I was getting a little chippy out there.
And we have to be careful here if there's no more ejections.
But I'm liking that plays where they're seeing Annis running away to the sidelines, get away from the coverage, and here's another nice hard count. They're trying to time the count. And it's not going to be enough for a first, but here's a 2nd and 1 as opposed to 2nd and 6.
So they just announced in-house the out-of-town scores right now. West Shore more than likely will defeat Kamloops. So West Shore's still on the tails of the Okanagan Sun, and if they upset the Sun 2 weeks from now, they're definitely in the driver's seat here in regards to staying with it and being more of a photo finish.
Yeah, not a runaway. Yep.
Yeah. And the running back, I believe, was tackled. I don't know if that was enough for a first down there, Jason.
It wasn't enough for a first, and he lost his footing too, unfortunately. It was a pretty good play call. They're trying some misdirection and then cutting back up in with a cross block in front of him, but I think he just lost his footing before he got tackled, and that really, for lack of a better word, that sucks when you got a 2nd and 1 and you're trying to get something going late in a blowout game, and yeah, you just lose your footing on maybe still some soggy turf, but that's unfortunate when you had a 2nd and 1 and you lose a half yard.
And it's going to be 3rd down and 1. So 3rd down and short again here for the Kodiaks. They were successful last attempt. This time they're going to just run it up the middle, and that was very close. Good second effort there from Andrew Johnson, who collected the snap. Now there is a flag on the play. We should also let you know there is some key starters still in on defense. Like Isaac Wagner still remains in the game. Tyler Going remains in the game. Romario Reed remains in the game. But the Peyton Riders of the world and Quaz Bahan, Kalon Thomas, Garrett Cape, they're all out. So no flags on the play. That should be enough for a first down for the Prince George.
That's a good break for the Prince George. So kudos to them that made sure they did check in eligible numbers, because that's what they flagged. They had number 62 as an end, as a tight end, and kudos to them that they checked in and way to convert that. It was a good play call, good open field tackle, but he still had enough to get the first down and move upfield after contact.
So first down and 10, nice little fresh set of downs. 4.5 minutes remaining in the football game. The Kodiaks would love to get on the board here as a little bit of dignity heading back up north.
Yeah, a small victory if you can break this shutout would be very, very impressive for them to do this late in the fourth quarter.
Shotgun formation, Keegan Henderson, he's gonna throw it right up the middle, taking a huge hit. We're staying on his feet. Here is the receiver, Taylor Nyberg. Nyberg, can he get there? He can. Touchdown Kodiaks, but hold on, ladies and gentlemen. A flag in towards the line of scrimmage. Is it a hold in the Prince George Kodiaks?
Well, I think his umpire is saying that it's still going to be moving downfield, so maybe it's not against the Okanagan Sun, but I'm not sure if there's some shenanigans we're kind of seeing off screen there. But hey, great job knowing when you're coming over on a post pattern like that in front of a free safety, and a free safety you know that's been dishing out licks all afternoon. Kudos to Nyberg to stay in there. Like, that's a beautiful catch, took his lick, kept his balance.
So it's going to be a first down, so no touchdown. There's two flags on the play. One of them was an unnecessary roughness play, as we saw an injured player. It's Isaac Wagner. That is not what you want to see for the Okanagan Sun. It's one of their top players over the last couple weeks, and he will need to get looked at by the athletic therapist.
Yeah, the way he came down to try and make that body hit, it's probably a stinger, or he got a little bit winded as he's still trying to run or whatnot. I'm hoping it's something serious. Didn't look like it should be. He's a well put together, tough kid, but yeah, it's just, that's unfortunate for the Kodiaks, because that was a great play. Way to stand in there, take your lick, and then turn in, you know, after contact, another 40 yards to get the pay dirt. But again, penalties are hurting both sides of the ball in key situations, and obviously both teams are going to have to address that when they start watching film.
And shotgun here from the 45 is Henderson. Another short dump, that one caught and running out of bounds there is Matthew Sturgis. I believe that was Matthew Sturgis' first catch of the football game. And
yeah, we haven't heard his name. Yep.
It's going to be second down and about 3 here.
And that's a play that's been working well, that weak side. Just take that shotgun snap and look to the weak side right away, get that 5-6 yard out, right by the sidelines, no time for the defender to make a play. And Sturgis did a good job too, reaching upfield as he was going out of bounds to gain an extra yard and a half.
3:55 now remaining in the football game. Second down and short. Henderson, he's going to take a shot. Looking for his man, he had him open. It was Jared Annis, who's been targeted often here in the second half, and it was just overthrown.
Yeah, Annis has really stepped up his game trying to get open for his receiver, and they had an opportunity, or his quarterback, sorry, and they had an opportunity. He was just out of reach, so whether he wasn't quite sure how fast he was coming out of that coverage, Henderson, so maybe he just put a little too much mustard on it. Maybe if he had a better arc on it, he would have been able to drop it into the receiver, but good read, good opportunity, just missed opportunity by the Kodiaks.
Shotgun again for Henderson. He'll take the snap. He's going to throw that one again just out of the reach, and they're going to turn it over on downs. That was on third down there, and not the right play call for the Prince George Kodiaks. The intended target was Sturgis again.
Yeah, a little high. If that was low and away in a place where the defender couldn't make a play, and if it's an incomplete pass, fine. But if it was a little lower, it would have been, again, right in the breadbasket, which we've seen Henderson make those throws all fourth quarter. So, yeah, I think they knew, oh, yeah, this is Henderson's bread and butter. He's going to thread the needle here, and we're going to get this first down. But I don't know if nerves or the ball just came out of his hands a little hot. It was a little high drifting into the receiver there.
Just got a text message from some of my friends up in Prince George. Manager of Cal Tire up there, Chris Milam, telling me Keegan Henderson works with me along with 4 others from this Kodiaks team. And nice to see them get put to work, as well as most of these players in the Sun that have separate full-time jobs. And Tristan Peddle with a short gain of about 3 or 4 yards on first down and 10. Well, second down here for Avery Clayton and the Sun offense.
Yeah, pretty standard late game. leading a blowout situation kind of play call, just straight up smash mouth football, a quality running back and pedal, so you know he's going to secure the ball and get positive yardage. And, you know, turning into a 2nd and 5 or 6 is a great scenario for them to be in as they lead this game, this fourth quarter towards the ending.
So 3:50, or pardon me, 2:51 remaining. It should be the 3-minute warning. And here it is. The 3 little whistles from the official. And they'll get ready to snap this ball off once again here. Tristan Peddle remains in at running back. Avery Clayton is the quarterback here for the Sun. He'll take the snap, and he's going to go back to pass here. Short dump over to Peddle, and it was out of his reach. And the punt unit will have to step out here for the Okanagan Sun.
And those watching online on BCFC TV could see it would have been a very well-designed play. The blockers were set in place. It just was a little high over Peddle's head. He couldn't secure it, but downfield, the O-line and receivers were set in a perfect position where Peddle would have got some nasty big yards on that play.
Another opportunity for the Kodiaks maybe to march down the field, but they need a big play on special teams. They really haven't had much go right for them on special teams so far. We've seen Keon Raymond make himself look dangerous and really turn not a good look into a great look at times.
Yeah, he's a quality player. He's obviously a top-notch defender, but yeah, to see him also double duty as a good returner to try and help his team out on the other side of the ball is great.
So back to punt this one. It actually isn't Isaac Wagner. This is Matthew Lord, because you got to remember Wagner got injured there and had to walk off. He's still being looked at, I believe, by the athletic therapist. And remember, Isaac Wagner did miss weeks 1 and weeks 2 of the regular season due to injury. And you hope that it's not the same issue that he dealt with to start the year. Matthew Lord did do a very good job for the Sun punting the ball previously. We all remember the week 2 game in Langley where they ended up faking the punt about 3 or 4 different times, Jason.
Many times.
And Matt Lord, we know it can be an effective punter, and there he is. Receiving back at his own 44-yard line is Keon Raymond. Raymond, he's quick, but not quick enough. He's bottled up there by Aiden Weiberg and the Sun special teams. And the Kodiaks offense will come back out here with 2.5 minutes remaining in the game. Keegan Henderson getting direction from his offensive coordinator. And we've seen good things out of Keegan Henderson. Again, he wasn't expecting to play almost 90% of his football game for the Kodiaks.
No, exactly. That's never the situation you want for your backup. The Suns situation is a perfect situation. You have an opportunity to give your number 2 quarterback game time where it's not going to affect you, but to have Henderson for the Kodiaks coming in off the bench because of an injury, that's a tough situation. But I think he's stepped up. You know, the score is not indicative of what his play is. They've been behind the 8 ball the whole game. But yeah, he's a quality quarterback. He's got a strong arm, pretty accurate. He's just had a lot of black and orange in his face all afternoon.
Snap taken, and Henderson,
case in point,
goes nowhere. And I mean nowhere. Coming in hot was J.J. Heaton with the sack and getting a little bit of support from another veteran in Christian Horner.
Yeah, it's just tough. He's trying to make reads downfield, but there's nothing to do. Like, the coverage is that good downfield. I think, and obviously there's only 2.5 minutes left in this game, but earlier, you know, hindsight's 20/20. If the Kodiaks could have seen this pressure coming in Henderson's face, he throws pretty good on the run. You think that, okay, we're going to abandon pocket-style quarterbacking, and we're just going to do play-action pass, and we're going to roll out. We're going to pull a backside guard or tackle, and we're just going to roll him outside the pocket, left and right, throw on the run, or run himself.
And now they're just going to run the ball on 2nd down and long, and they're going to go nowhere. What a hit on the play by Zach Parker.
Good to see the young kid getting in there making a play. Absolutely, he knows it too. I love it. That's a beauty, open field tackle.
And the Apple
He's got some fans in the stands,
yeah, I think his high school team is in attendance because we have 2 high school teams here to watch, and I think Zach Parker's high school team just erupted watching him make that tackle.
Awesome.
And he looked right at the Apple Bowl right after. He loved to see it.
And that's a great open field tackle, absolutely. When you're on a no man's land like that, you can't risk missing the tackle. You know you've got swarming help with your linebackers and safety coming down, but you want to make that open field tackle, and that was a perfect solo open field tackle by Parker.
And Isaac Wagner, we can tell that his day's done. He's wearing what sort of looks like an inverted cast right now, so we'll hope to see him come back at full strength for week number 8 against the West Shore Rebels 2 weeks from now. Remember, the Sun get a much needed bye week to rest up, heal their wounds. Of course, all those wounds are physical, not mental. They are on top of the world right now with a perfect record. Minute 24 to go in the football game. The Sun offense with more than likely one final series. Avery Clayton, the third string quarterback, is in the game. The ball is spotted at the 43-yard line of the Okanagan Sun. Tristan Peddle is in at running back. Snap taken by Clayton. He's going to give it to Peddle. Peddle, short distance, couple yard gain at the 45 now. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, just a good defensive stand by the front four for the Kodiaks there. They really crashed in on that. And you had Craig, who we saw in that big sack earlier in the game, earlier in the third quarter, just crashed down that line of scrimmage and help out his teammates. And you know, when you see someone like Peddle who can hit that line of scrimmage like a bat out of hell, be held to only about 2.5 yards, that's a good job by the defensive front.
We got an injured player down for the Kodiaks. We'll take a break for 30 seconds. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Welcome back. 2nd down and 8 here from the Apple Bowl. Avery Clayton, he's going to fumble the snap and immediately recover. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 coming up. Sun will have to punt this one away. Matt Lord and special teams will step out on the field here.
Yeah, that's just a fumble by Clayton. The ball, you could argue, maybe is a little high and maybe a little outside him, but it was right in an opportunity where he didn't have to stretch, didn't catch him off guard being too high or too low. I think that's a snap that should have been handled, and unfortunately just, you know, he hasn't had a lot of reps. He obviously gets scout team and practice and whatnot, but, you know, game situation reps, Clayton's not going to get a lot of, and that just caught him a little off guard.
The score, 35-0 if you're just joining us on AM 1150 and BCFC TV. The score is actually pretty similar after the first half. It was actually 32-0 after halftime. And only 3 points scored. 1 off a rouge and 1 off a field goal. It's Keon Raymond with a nice little leap there towards midfield. And the Kodiaks will have one last try. And this is kind of an entertaining way to finish a game. 34 seconds to go. Kodiaks, you better believe they want to get some points on the board.
Absolutely. Both sides of the ball have something on the line now. The defense sure as heck doesn't want to give up their shutout. And the offense doesn't want to leave here without getting something on the board after getting beaten up all afternoon. So this is going to be a battle of wills and execution at this point to see what side of the ball is going to win these last 30, 34 seconds.
1st down and 10 here from their own 54-yard line, pretty much midfield for Keegan Henderson. Henderson, he'll take the snap. His offensive line has given him time here, and now he's going to run. Is he going to step into a pass? He will, and it's incomplete. More than likely, is pretty close to an illegal forward pass.
Yeah, another step, I think he would have been across that line of scrimmage, but he had just enough awareness to get that ball out before he went over. I'm not quite sure where he was throwing, though. I don't know if he overthrew the receiver. I don't know if the shadow there up by the 40 and 30-yard line messed up his read, but it was a little overthrown by one receiver, but also underthrown. He did have a deeper threat, so it's tough to see where he was trying to thread the needle. Was he trying to go short and he overthrew it, or was he trying to go long and underthrew it?
Second down and 10 from the Prince George 54-yard line. Henderson takes a snap again. Henderson running out of time. Now he's going to bomb it. Looking for a jump ball play. Is that intercepted?
That's a beauty pick.
Wow. Unbelievable interception on the play. And who was that, Jason Casey?
I didn't see who it is. It's obviously one of the backup defenders, but I couldn't tell how he came down. I think that might be Lord.
Yeah, that was Lord that made a beautiful pick. Way to track that ball coming downfield. So good coverage. Obviously, to stick with his man. He wasn't in man coverage as the free safety coming down there, but he had two receivers coming from opposite sides on the deep posts, and he was able to track the ball like a center fielder in baseball and come down with a really, really, really hard interception. So good job for them. Took the wind out of the sails for the Kodiaks to try and put points on the last few seconds, but here's an opportunity for the Sun now to close out the game.
What an interesting little fan that just came up to say hello to us, Jason. As we see the run from Tristan Peddle. Peddle looking to get that extra step, and he'll get tackled down 10 seconds to go in the game. I just had Ampero, who's the mother of Andres Guzman,
Oh, cool.
come up all the way from Tampico, Mexico, out near the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
So that was kind of a treat for me. Shout out to, we got viewers not just coast to coast here, but
We're
viewers
international.
Yeah, CJFL is international.
I love it.
So this should be the final play of the football game here. The Okanagan Sun shut out the Prince George Kodiaks 35-0. The game was all about the defense here, Jason.
Yeah, the defense dictated from outset. Offense had, for lack of a better word, an easy afternoon because they had the field position was, for the most part, in their favor from start to finish. The defense stepped up right away. They were in no real danger. They had a few mental mistakes and some penalties. They gave up a few big plays, but nothing consistently they had to worry about. The Kodiaks didn't put together like a 7, 8, 9 play drive and put up a touchdown or a field goal on them, so they didn't have to do that. And the specials stepped up too. Specials are like your defense as well, when you can control the field like that. And the punt return was on point, the defense was on point, and the offense looked like they didn't skip a beat with a different quarterback.
Final score 35-0. We're going to take a 6-minute break, and then it's on to the post-game show. You're listening to JDS Energy and Mining Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150. Burst of speed. He'll juke. He'll dance up the middle. He'll fumble. Who's got it? Looking for Javon Garwood instead. He's going to run. And we know Liam Kruger's got wheels, Jason. He is rusty at all. He's had action in every game